Hello, hello. So we are live for day 2. Good morning, everyone. So I'm just putting up the chat here. Just put a little good morning into the chat. Let us know if you can hear us okay, see us okay. Yeah, we already have Holly here. Hi, Holly.
Hi. Can
Yeah,
I chat? I was trying to
yeah,
type and I couldn't.
yeah, you should be able. You should be able to put a hello, Rosie. Yeah, you should be able to put a few messages in the chat if you want to give that a try. So we're on for day 2 and we have an insane day today because it's going to be jam-packed of actions that you can take, marketing strategies that you can do. Good morning, Larissa. Hello, hello. Thank you for dropping into the chat. Yeah, so I'm super excited. So let me take you through what we're going to do today. So first off, obviously we have the amazing Holly who's already here and ready to get started. Um, oh, afternoon in Switzerland. I love it. Who's gonna teach us how? And I, it's like the number one question you get. How can you run a full-time business but part-time? And you, regardless of if you have a job or this is your side business and you want to grow and eventually quit your job, or you're growing but you do not want to be stuck and do this every day all day. you, I feel like everybody understand this. This is not the goal of being an entrepreneur. You don't want to be doing this 24/7. So I am super 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 excited for Holly. And then we are going to learn some more strategies with Kimberly. We have 3 components of a launch. I love launching, guys. I'm so excited. Monica Ann is, oops, sorry. Monica Ann is going to teach us the easy lead generation. Then we have creating your brand through storytelling. Guys, storytelling is everything. Everything. Learning how to tell a good story can make or break your business. So this is amazing. We're going to have some financial projection for your launch with Betty. And then we're going to finish the day with how to be magnetic and attract your dream client. I also have some really amazing surprises, things that I teach only for my paid clients. So it's about to get real and super, super, super exciting. So, welcome, Holly.
Hi. Thank you. I'm
You're
excited to kick
so
things off.
welcome. Yes. All right. So Holly's saying that you can you see the chat
Yeah, I
or
see the chat, but I can't type. I have some free things I wanted to share, like so that everyone doesn't have to take notes. So I'll just put it in the private chat and then you can share
okay,
it.
sounds good. Sounds good. We can do that. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself before we get started?
Yeah. So, hi everyone. I'm Holly Haynes. I'm gonna chat about how to build a full-time business on a part-time schedule. I'm actually from Columbus, Ohio. I don't know if anyone else here is from the Midwest. I have twins who are 8 years old, thankfully at school today. I started my business in January of 2020. So most of it has been built during the pandemic with kids at home and all the things going on. And so I'm really passionate about sharing how to really grow and scale on a really, truly part time schedule. Like I am doing it with you. Um, so yeah, I love this topic. So I'm super excited to share. And this is a brand new presentation. I have only done it one other time and it was sort of like a test group. So I'm excited for you guys to see it.
Oh, I'm so excited. Here, let me bring up your screen. There we go. You're all good to get started.
All right, cool. Well, I'm Holly. You guys can see that. I love this slide, honestly, because I feel like it's really important to know where people have come from and what they have done. And sometimes you sort of don't necessarily get that on social media. So I have a 20-year corporate strategy career, more like 22 right now. working for Fortune 500 companies, which, long story short, it just means that I have taken what I have learned working with really big companies and sort of flipped the model, and am now using that to help you in a way that makes sense for busy moms and female entrepreneurs and men and women who are wanting to build their own business. I started in network marketing about, almost 6 years ago. And then, like I mentioned, pivoted in January of 2020. I gave myself a 1-year challenge, and that was to completely flip my business, not knowing that the pandemic was going to hit. And the first thing that I did was launched a podcast. So I've had a podcast for almost 2 years. It most recently was in the top 100 of entrepreneurship with some names like Dave Hollis and Jenna Kutcher. And so that's been a really fun just community builder. And then I've really focused on building a community. And I say I'm a mom of twins because, let's be honest, I mean, sometimes that's the most challenging part. So I can tell you that I started from scratch in January of 2020, and my website is less than a year old. So all of this is very much me sharing what's working and how I've done it and what I'm doing. And so I'd love for this to be super interactive. You guys can ask questions, and I'm going to walk you through exactly what I did and what I do now. So if you guys want to drop in the chat, I can't actually chat, but I can see the chat. I'm curious what your biggest challenge is when it comes to productivity, scheduling, capacity, and then we'll make sure at the end that I can answer some of those questions. And then, just for fun, you can also drop in the chat, what do you do to relax? So my favorite thing to do to relax is to watch Real Housewives. I'm like a huge reality TV fan. I only get through like 20 minutes a night because my day is so packed, and then I usually fall asleep. But Beverly Hills is my current fave. So if you guys have, yes, Big Bang Theory, I love that. If you guys have any questions or challenges around scheduling, productivity, capacity, drop them in the chat and we'll make sure that we get to those. All right. So let's get into it. So I'm actually going to teach you this concept that I came up with called CEO Week. And it's how to run your business in 8 hours a week. Now, when I say run your business, these are like the very core activities. So I'm not going to tell you that you can build like a 7-figure business and only work 8 hours, but these are things that I consistently do every single week that take 8 hours. Sometimes I work more, sometimes I work less. If you followed me on social media last week, we were actually on vacation. I probably worked 3 hours last week. This week is a little bit more. So the theory is that if you're consistent and you follow these tips and this method, that you'll start to sort of build your own momentum and really start to see some progress. So there are 2 pillars that sort of set the stage for what CEO Week looks like. So I'm going to talk about those 2 pillars, and then I'm going to actually give you the schedule of how you can structure your own CEO Week. And I have a couple surprises for you. One of them is you don't have to take notes. I already did that for you, and I'm going to share that in a second. So if you're like scrambling to write things down, I'd love for you to just ask questions as we go, and I have a resource with all the notes in it. So the first pillar that sort of makes up CEO Week is to set business hours. And I know if you are in network marketing or you've listened to other coaches, like this is not a new thing, but to actually follow through on it is what makes the biggest difference. So for me personally, there are 2 different ways that you can set these business hours. One is deciding what projects to work on during a set amount of time each day, or 2 is to be very, very specific. So for me personally, I like option A, where I know my business hours are from 6 to 7:30 every single morning because I have kids and my 9 to 5. So I basically have an hour and a half Monday through Friday where I am working on my business. This does not mean scrolling or snoozing or just like trying to figure out what to do. This is actually, you know what to do and you're working on it. So as an example, this morning, I was working on this presentation. I was checking some back end like lead page stuff. And then I was actually writing content for next week. So it was very, very specific. The second thing that you can do if you sort of don't like that ambiguity is you can be very specific. So as an example, every Wednesday from 12 to 2, I have podcast recordings. I only do it on one day a week. I know exactly when it's happening. It's scheduled. And it's not a question of, should I check Instagram today? Should I check Pinterest? Am I going to do this? It's like, no, today is podcast day. I know that I have it scheduled from 12 to 2 on Wednesdays. So actually setting and following through on business hours is like the pillar that makes this whole thing work. And I know we've all heard it before, but the question is, are you following it? And during those hours, do you know what to work on? And I'm going to help you figure that out. So just in case you are like, wait, I don't really understand how this works. Don't doubt the power of consistency and focus. So as an example, if you had one intentional hour a day, that's, let's just say Monday through Friday, that's what it looks like for me. Then you had a 2-hour creative session. I always talk about on my podcast that I feel like it's very, very important to have white space to brainstorm and be creative and put together your strategy. And you can't do that in 20 to 30 minute increments. As much as I would love to do everything in like a 20-minute increment, you can't. So I do this like 2-hour creative session, which is typically for me on Saturday morning. And then on Sunday, I do a 1-hour planning session. So as an example, the 1-hour planning session would be actually planning for the week ahead. It would not be working in the business. But then the 1 hour intentionally a day, Monday through Friday, would actually be working in the business. And if you think about how this works, it's almost 420 hours a year. Like that is a lot of time to actually get things done. And it is only 8 hours a week. And then everything else is honestly what I think as a bonus. So in terms of schedule, this is what it starts to look like and how you can start to put it together. And then I'm going to share what you can do in that schedule. The cool thing is, I don't know if you guys are Home Edit fans. I love it. But when you start to have a schedule, so let's say that you have put together where your office hours or your business hours are going to be every morning from 9 to 10. This is where your tools start to come in. Maybe you utilize ClickUp or Trello or Asana, or if you're working on a launch, you then will pull up those tools during that time and work specifically on that. So I always say that you want to lean into the tools during this time so that way you aren't distracted. But honestly, it's not the tool that's going to make it. It's going to be the focus and the consistency of actually showing up and following through on how you are setting up your business hours. Let's see. I'm going to just answer a couple questions. How would I figure out my hours for my craft business? So I am actually a super creative person, and I would say I would back into like, how much time do you need to create a project? Let's say, I don't know what type of crafts that you do. So maybe you need at least 2 hours at a time. Sometimes I think crafts probably take more than 20 minutes. So then I would block out 2 or 3 hours at a time so that you know that you consistently are showing up every day, 2 hours at a time. Or maybe I actually have a chef and a baker that's in my mastermind. And she does the same thing. So she'll have like a full day. That's a baking day because it takes more time. She can't do it in 20 minutes. But then the next day, she's not doing any of her business because she knew that she did it all the day before. So I think you can kind of make it what you need. But I'm guessing in some cases, you need more than 20 minutes. And then after you have sort of a long period of working time, then you can take a break and do something else. And I'm going to share sort of what this looks like. So we can definitely answer more questions at the end. So the interesting part is a lot of times people start to set these business hours and then they're like, oh, well, I just got stuck scrolling, or I just got stuck snoozing. So I actually have a quiz. It's super fun. You guys can do it while I'm talking, and it will tell you, I put it in the private chat, Sophie, if you want to share it in the regular chat. It will tell you sort of what your business working style is. And then I actually have some tips to help you here at the end. But the fact of the matter is that no matter what style you are, business hours work for everyone. So I always say scrolling, snacking, and snoozing are all signs to me. I call them the 3 S's, that I'm not taking the right focus. Like something is going on where I am not focused on the right activity, or I am somehow distracted on what I need to be. So just a little fun little tip there. The cool part is no matter what your personality, like I said, business hours will help with the focus, and so will theme days. So theme days are one of my favorites because if you have a busy schedule and you have other things going on besides your business, they become a lifesaver because you start to really dial in your focus even more and really start to think about, okay, if I only have 1 hour today, today's Monday, it's going to be CEO day. If I only have 1 hour today on Tuesday, Tuesdays are podcast days, or whatever it looks like for you. Maybe for a craft business, Tuesdays are creative days. And so you have extra time to be creative. And so the 2 pillars that really make up CEO week are set your business hours and then really think about theme days so that you aren't shifting between different things at different times. And this is where it gets super exciting because I'm actually going to share with you a couple of the theme days and what that looks like behind the scenes. This is probably a slide that you want to take a screenshot of because we don't have time today to go through all of the days, but I am going to go through 2 of them so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. And then I have some notes for you on the other days. Any questions about setting business hours or the concept of a themed schedule? We'll get into it more. Okay. So this is one of my favorite quotes. And whenever I start to get overwhelmed, I always say, consistency trumps talent every time. You don't have to be the best in the game. You have to stay in it. So for me, having set business hours and having a theme for the day where I know in my business, every Monday I'm doing this, every Tuesday I'm doing this, it continues to build over time that I'm going to see results. And it's so simple that I don't have to worry about what's next because I've got that built-in strategy time. For me, it's on Saturday, that 2-hour work time where I know that I'm going to come up for air and be able to plan what's next. So I have a little surprise for you guys. This is the first time I've actually shared this, but if you go to my website and do /CEO, I actually have a Trello template that has all these notes taken for you. So if you can see here, I've got Monday, CEO day, Tuesday, we're going to talk about community day. Wednesday is what I call client care day. Thursday is business systems. So it's like finance and email marketing. And I've actually put notes in each of the individual ones. And I know because we only have a half hour today, I don't have time to go through all of them, but I wanted to gift this to you guys so that you could really dig in. And honestly, I would love your feedback. Like I said, this is the first time that I have presented this publicly. So I'd love to know if it works for you. But we're going to dig into 2 of the days now so you can sort of see what I'm talking about and how it works. Okay, so the first day that I wanted to cover is content day. So you can make content day any day of the week. It's not set in stone. This is super fluid and flexible. It's totally up to you. Like I said, you can make it whatever you want, but here's an example. And again, this is in the Trello board, so you can visually see this, what I do on content day. So if you have been paying attention to any of the, I think some of you are getting errors. I'll send it to you again at the end. If you have been paying attention to any of the sort of business growth trends in 2022, it is content. Content allows you to be in multiple places at one time, and content is the way of serving your community. So when you think about launching, content is your critical first step in growth. So what you want to do is, and what I do to keep it simple, is on content day, I pick a weekly theme. Super easy. I don't have time to write content months in advance. So I'm like, what do I want to accomplish in my business this week? If you're in launch mode, this is actually even easier because you know exactly what you want to share. The second thing that you want to do is create your post. So on content day, this is where you're doing your graphics, you're maybe batching your reels, you're creating whatever you're doing. One of the things that I love to do is actually map out my Instagram story plan. And Instagram stories are definitely a way for you to connect, but I actually plan what I'm going to share. So yesterday, as an example, I just got back from this retreat. I made a little note on my calendar, like share lessons learned from retreat. Wasn't super fancy. It was me talking with my cold. But I knew that I was showing up, and I was showing up with intention. And then the last one is create and follow a repurpose plan. So for me personally, I knew if I wanted to be in multiple places at one time, I needed to figure out how to duplicate and automate my content. And so that's what I focus on content day. So let me drop the link down really quick so you guys can see it. See if that one works. If not, I'll check it at the end. So this is just a case study of what I did when I started my content plan. So you can see this was like back in my network marketing days. We were like kind of consistent, but not really. This is when I made my pivot after a year. So this was December of last year. And then this was most recently today. So you can see the consistency of, I've got some branding now. I'm showing up more consistently. I've got topics that I'm talking about. And so it's just interesting to see how the consistency is working and how once I nailed it, because I was being consistent, it hasn't changed much in a year. I mean, it's changed a little bit. But what I've done was be able to apply my signature method, created a content planning process, utilized the template. And so it's just really, I think for me, it was interesting to see, like once I nailed that process, like it was much easier to follow through. Okay, I'm glad the link worked. I tested it this morning, but it was like 5 a.m. So okay, so this is another example of what I do with my content repurposing. And this is something that you can definitely do for any type of launch and really get your message out, right? So if you think about launching, nurturing before a launch is really, really important. How do you do that? Through content. If you consistently have a content day every single week, then you can really start to think about how are you going to get in front of more people. So for us, what that looks like is my podcast is the pillar, sort of where we start. It then turns into a Facebook weekly theme. So that's what I'm talking about in the Facebook group, which then turns into a blog post. So you can see once a week, I have a teaching blog post. It's taken from the podcast. It's the same content as the podcast. It just looks a little bit different. Which then turns into an Instagram story. And then I do a mini training, and we actually have some more behind the scenes of how we're repurposing it. Long story short, though, I'm spending an hour writing content every Monday, and it's turning into 5+ platforms of content. So 1 hour of consistency is getting me in front of hundreds of people, and I'm repeating that over and over and over again each week. So hopefully that makes sense, but that's what I would do as an example on content day. Content days for me are usually Monday or Tuesday. I try to get ahead of it at the beginning of the week. The next day that I wanted to share with you guys is CEO Day. I talk about this a lot on my podcast. I feel like this was a game changer in my business. And that is typically on Mondays or Fridays, depending on, I like to bookend my week with this. I create a CEO day. What this means for me personally is I say no to meetings. And that sounds super scary, especially when you have a 9 to 5. But I try really hard to just protect my time. So I have that extra white space. So you can have that time to be creative or catch up or plan or write a presentation. I try to work ahead on tasks. So if your CEO day is on Monday or Friday, what can you do ahead of time so that the remaining 4 days are on autopilot? Maybe it is part of your content day. Maybe it is writing things ahead of time. It's just helping you strategically plan and brainstorm and organize and catch up. And I personally found that on Sundays, I would get so stressed out about whatever was happening during the week, and you're trying to meal plan and get the kids ready and all the things that are happening on Sunday. And then I would be like, oh my gosh, I have to plan all these things for my business. And it never happened because I would get overwhelmed. And so when I pivoted and said, nope, I'm going to do all the planning on CEO day, not planning for the week, but actually planning for my business, I started to see the momentum shift. So as an example, I use this space to create lists of tasks that I maybe want to do ahead in the week, podcast pitches, creating graphics, looking at Pinterest. Like, it's really when you are stepping into the CEO role of your business. A couple of things that you can also do during CEO day is really think about which phase of business you are in. So this whole summit is all about converting, right? So it's when you're launching. But in my head, there are two other phases. There's sort of this like attract and engage phase and this nurture phase. For me personally, nurture kind of is the overarching thing that happens all the time. But depending on what phase you're in the business, your CEO tasks might look a little bit different. So if you're launching, you're probably triple checking that all of your launch things are working. If you're not in a launch phase, maybe you're looking at creating new lead magnets or how to get to know potential clients better. And so it's just a minute during your week to really slow down and look at what's happening and like what is the strategic goal of what you're trying to do in the next couple days or weeks or whatever that looks like. CEO days are also my favorite days to what I call sharpen the content. So if you're in the middle of a launch, you're going to want to look at your metrics, what's working, what's not working. If you're not in the middle of a launch, it's a great time to look at Google Analytics and like behind the scenes of where people are finding you and how they're communicating with you. You can ask for feedback, like what testimonials do you have? You can also think about what do you enjoy about your business? Like what went really well this week and what didn't? And what are your calls to action? Like what are you eventually going to ask for? And so CEO day for me is just a time to really be that CEO of your business. Maybe it's going into your Trello board and thinking about like what's coming, what day do you want to do things, and just slowing down and like being able to take a breath and just really look at your business from an overarching level instead of like always being in the weeds. I would say content day, you're in the weeds. The other example days, you're in the weeds. This day, you're looking at like, what do I need to do as a business owner? So those are two examples. We only had a half hour today, but they all are in that Trello board. I think you guys got it to work. And all of my notes are in there, including what I do on each of these days. Now, the cool part about this concept is you don't have to use these days. These are just what have worked for me because I found that if I was consistent in each one of these, that I would start to, again, create momentum, see results. And so you could have like a finance day, you could have an operations day, you could have a personal care day. Like sometimes CEO day is like getting a massage or taking a walk. I mean, it's really what you want to make it and what works for you and your business. You could have an email marketing day. You could have a launch planning day. Like you can really make it whatever works best for you. But I have found, again, it really does help keep you focused. So my goal is that you can use the Trello board, you can take the quiz, and you have some tools now in your toolbox to really understand how you can start to structure your week in a really, really simple way and really understand your strategic direction so that when it does come time to set your themes or work on your business. You know exactly what you want to work on and how you're going to do it. So just as a reminder, in case you're doubting the process, you can get a lot done in a really short amount of time. Like imagine if you had 400 plus hours to work on your business. That is exactly what this system is that I just taught you. And my favorite thing sort of to end with is when all else fails, you are like, I don't know, Holly, I don't know if I can do theme days, and I don't know if I can figure out business hours like this week. Think about your day today. So what are the top 3 things that you need to get done today? It's not all business. It's probably part business, part personal. Maybe you have a corporate job, whatever that looks like. And then everything else is sprinkles. It's really easy to get overwhelmed by to-do lists, but I have found if you really cut it down to like, what is the focus today? And then celebrate the fact that you got 3 things done. You're again going to start to see that momentum. I describe this method. I call it the cake method on my podcast. It's episode 92. If you guys want to listen. I mean, who doesn't want to talk about cake every morning? I don't know. It's really easy to just think about what your day looks like and how it's going to work. So with that said, my favorite sort of quote to end on is long-term consistency trumps short-term intensity. So you don't need to burn out. You need to be consistent, and you really need to think about how you're going to intentionally run your day and what that looks like for you. That's our 30 minutes. It's a lot in 30 minutes.
That was amazing. Thank you so much. I absolutely love that Tuesday is your community and getting seen day. And today we're Tuesday.
I know, right? It worked out perfectly. Now, I will say it doesn't always work out that way. But you can adjust, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. And not having boundaries, guys, is going to burn you out. So I cannot stress this enough and I understand there's people all over the world. I've worked with people. Oh my goodness, when I was working behind the scene, I worked with people from Kenya, Australia, Europe, the US, here in Canada. So I understand that it's not easy, but boundaries is so important. Thank you so much. If you have any question for Holly, drop them in the chat and I'll just scroll up.
I can't see the chat anymore.
No? Why? That is so weird.
But you can tell me if there's any. I see the private chat.
You don't see the chat on the right?
No.
So Rosie says, I'm just going to put her on the screen here. She took the quiz and she got Overthinking Olivia.
Yeah.
Names, that is so awesome.
Yeah, I think the most popular one is Overthinking Olivia and Scrolling Sally. I think that's what I called it. That's usually a sign of
addicting.
Yeah, that's usually a sign of stress for me is when I'm scrolling or snacking. And so in your inbox should be a list of things that you can do to sort of help with that.
That is amazing. Thank you so much. Lots of awesome feedback into the comments and loving the visuals. Obviously, a lot of people are very visual learners, and that is awesome. Okay, we have somebody on Facebook. I don't see your name. I'll go check it out. Procrastinating Patty.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's so interesting. One of my favorite resources is actually Mel Robbins, and she talks a lot about procrastination, and procrastination is a form of stress. So it's so interesting that most of the time when you have a task to do, it maybe takes 20 minutes to get it done. You can get most things done in under a half hour or at least a step of the process. And so I try to think of it that way. I also use timers quite a bit. And we'll just be like, okay, Holly, like set the timer for 10 minutes and just like do what you need to do. And if you don't get it done, it's fine. Like at least you tried. But most of the time I can get it done.
We have Larissa as a negative Nancy, and we have Lorraine here on Facebook as a procrastinating Patty. Oh, yeah.
Everyone does it. So it's not,
Absolutely.
and some of them obviously have like a positive trait as well. So I hope you guys had fun taking it.
Yes, I'm gonna have to go take it later. After this, and I'll let you know what I get.
Yeah. You could share with me what you guys got. And if you guys use the Trello board, I would love your feedback. Like I said, I have never shared it publicly before. So I'm excited for you
I'm
guys.
so excited to check it out. Holly is in the Facebook group, correct? The collaboration corner. So I'll definitely tag her in, just create a post, tag her in, and ask any questions that you have.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. So we are how absolutely amazing was that? Are we going to get this presentation? I will ask Holly if you guys are going to get the presentation. Our next speaker, we have Kimberly. Hi, Kimberly. Are you with us? We're just going to wait here for Kimberly to pop on screen. Kimberly is going to talk about 3 phases of a launch. Now, I am a launch nerd, so I'm obviously super excited. Oh, she's going to come back, I'm sure. I'm super excited to talk about launching. So has anybody here listening, just let me know in the comments, have you ever launched? Have you ever tried launching? And if you have, how did that go? Launching does not necessarily have to be complicated. We tend to make it more complicated than it is. Okay, where did my mouse go? Wrong screen. Hello, Kimberly.
Hi.
How
I
are
needed to give
you?
my video access, so I apologize.
Oh, that is okay. That is totally okay.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Welcome to the Launch
Good.
Live workshop.
Thank
I'm so excited
you.
because we are diving into some really epic launch.
Yes. I was listening backstage and I was like, oh, she's good. I love her.
You gotta love when you hear something and it just clicks, right?
Yes.
You're like, oh
Shout
my
out to
gosh,
Holly.
why is this so
Yes.
simple and I didn't
She
do
lives
this?
my type of life. I need, yes,
And who doesn't
everything.
love cake? Now I'm slightly
Listen,
hungry, so
every day, every day, every day.
oh my goodness, I can't bake. I love sugar. I cannot bake for my life. So maybe that's not a bad thing.
You
All
are a girl
right.
after my own heart.
So tell us a little bit about yourself before we start diving into our launch strategies.
Yes. So, hey, everybody. I'm Kimberly Smith. I'm known as the Purpose Catalyst online. And someone actually said that to me, like outside in the street. And I was like, oh, okay, hey. Um, so, I'm excited to be here because I actually help individuals build, launch, and scale their purpose-based business. So there's 3 components. Of course, the building and the launching is why I'm here today. So I'm super excited about that. And my goal is really to help individuals move past the barriers that others have put along the way about creating their own personal economy. So if you can create a profitable launch one time, you can rinse and repeat and do it all over again.
I love that. I worked behind the scene
Mhm.
a lot over the last year. And the number one mistake that but okay, I've seen a few, like they don't have a launch plan that works for them and they're so not aligned that they completely burn out at the end and they don't launch.
What I'm finding is that people will tag 97 people and say, hey, I'm open for business. And that's their launch.
Yeah, that also doesn't work, guys. That does not
It
work.
doesn't work.
There is
There's no
strategies.
plan. No, that's their strategy.
Okay, so I know that we were asking about the presentation. I see an email that Holly sent with the presentation, and I will send an email after today. later this afternoon when I get a chance. So just to answer that question. All right, so let's dive right in.
Perfect.
All right. So, all right. So are you sharing a presentation or are you just going?
So I didn't do a presentation because I
No,
hate
that's
slides
totally
if I
okay.
don't have to use them. So I really just kind of talk,
All right.
randomly and we converse.
That's
So
perfect.
yeah,
I'm
so it'll
French.
be
I can talk
great.
forever.
Yes, listen, I love it. I studied French, so I feel like I'm at home.
Yay. All right, let's dive right in. So, pre-launch.
Yes. Pre-launch is a big thing. So I'm going to take it back a little bit so that people understand my foundation and where I come from.
Amazing.
I believe in like a 12 to 15-week launch, at least for new things, meaning if you've never launched this before, or maybe you launched and it wasn't what you expected, you feel like you failed, you didn't necessarily meet your goals, then I suggest starting from the beginning. Now, I think it's not even I think. My people told me that my launch is super comprehensive. So it's kind of like we leave no stone unturned. But I think what matters is making sure that you have something that is thorough. Because if you're thorough and you follow it step by step, you never really have a problem with what to do next, right? It's always one of those things where it's like, did I do this? So I created a checklist, like a whole ClickUp template of what to do. And that's how I guide my clients on their launch plan. So, first and foremost, it is 15 weeks if you've never launched. If you have, you could probably scale that back to maybe 6 to 8 weeks because you know what works and what doesn't. And there might be some slight modifications. And so pre-launch for my people is all about the planning. It's all about the organization. It's all about small scale execution. So my framework is called the Dream Plan Execute because if you're anything like me, and most of my people are, we have journal on top of journal, on top of planner, on top of notebook, right? Of what we want to do in our lives, how we want to make things work, our visions, what we've dreamed about. Right.
It's never far.
My people, how we want things to be. We've pretty much crafted the idea, right? I'm a big dreamer. I'm a big, listen, write down the entire vision, colors, taglines, themes, everything, because it's going to come into play. So that is what our pre-launch is. It's about what have you envisioned for this launch? Is it financial? Are there objectives? And there's two different goals. It is, I want to do a 10K launch. Great. Let's make sure we have things established. It's, I want to add 1,000 people to my email list. Perfect. We can make that happen too. Or it's a matter of, I want to do both. Then, okay, you want double duty. Let's make it happen all day. But in order to do that, you have to get organized. And I've never seen a profitable launch that was organized on Post-it notes or running off the top of your head. I've just never seen it. I could be missing out, right? But in my world, I've never seen a profitable launch where it wasn't totally planned out. So that is what pre-launch is for us. And then when I talk about small scale execution, I'm really talking about the market research. Do you really know what you're doing, what your offer should be, who your audience is? Because, I mean, even for me, build, launch, and scaling, sometimes they're three totally different people. Absolutely, they're two, because everybody who's launching is not scaling, right? You need to know your audience. Are they interested in this? Is this something they need right now? Are you the person that they know who can do it? And then one of the things that I also teach my people, small scale execution, right? Because we're just planning, we're working things out. And as you're doing your market research, I will say that seed dropping is important. Anybody, period, doesn't matter industry, vertical, what you do, how you do it. If you have never sown the seed, you cannot expect a harvest. Period. It doesn't happen. There is no Jack and the Beanstalk situations in entrepreneurship and business. Even he had some seeds, right? So we have to make sure that we are sowing those seeds on the ground where our audience resides. We should be in that little bubble, or what I call their metron, their sphere of influence. That's where we need to reside, where that target audience is, where you want to build credibility, where you want to build authority, where you want to say, I'm the go to person. You have to be where they reside. And if you're not, you're talking to the wrong people about the right thing, or you're talking about the right thing to the wrong people. You need to have both. You need to be talking about the right thing to the right people.
I love
So
that so
that's what
much.
pre-launch looks like. Thank
Yeah.
you.
You know, I have this metaphor for market research. And market research is something that I skipped for years because I thought I didn't need it. Anyways,
Right.
so think about your parents. You know how annoying parents can be. Like I'm 36 and sometimes they still like to tell me that I'm not feeding my child right. Right? So it doesn't matter that they're right or they're wrong. I'm gonna roll my eyes.
Right.
Not what I need to hear today. So yeah, that's my analogy for market research.
And I think a lot of times people think market research is this big, big thing. It's not really that big. Market research is just a series of questions and you storing the answer somewhere so that you can use it against your audience later. Like, in their words, you know
Yes.
what I mean? You need their terminology, their words, you need quotes from them. That is the way that things are going to take place. So, market research is a lot like looking on Amazon. It's a lot about, let me see what blogs relate to, where I am, and look at those comments. Look at Facebook groups. Can I just tell you that your market research could really be in a Facebook group of questions that have already been asked and people are waiting on the answer? You have quotes sitting in free resources that you just have not used. Not to mention, if you have an email list, honey, your email list is gold about what they need. And I think the biggest thing that we kind of mess up on is we think we know what people want, so we give them what we think they need. We don't ask, so we give them this anesthetic when we're not really giving them the root cause diagnosis, and actually we're relieving pain but not resolving the pain so that they can get to the next point. People don't need another analgesic. They need like the solution. So I tell people, listen, stand up, be the solution, be who they want, be who they need as it relates to how your purpose should be manifested in the earth. You know you got the goods. Sometimes I think we don't really launch well because we are not necessarily confident in the fact that we are the solution. But you were born to be the solution. So now it's time that you just step
Yes.
on the stage and be like, hey, I'm here and I got what you need. Free.
Absolutely. Oh, that's awesome. Yes. Do not skip market research. Market research
No.
can make or break. I mean, there's more to it, but it can make or break our launch for sure.
Absolutely. And Larissa said, what's a personal economy? So I want to answer that because I'll probably use it later. A personal economy is when you have the ability to create your own income. It is like, for instance, if you go for a job, right? There's a scale. And my background is in HR, so I'm going to talk to you from like your HR person, right? There's a scale. We bring you in at a certain rate, and you can only get incremental increases, if at all. Bonuses, incentives, things are based on what we set. When you have your personal economy, you make what you make because you've designed to make that. And there's nobody that can tell you, I can only give you a 2% increase or a 5% increase, or you're only going to get a cost of living increase. When you have a personal economy, you get to decide how much money you're going to make and when you're going to make it and how you're going to make it. And there's no one that can stop you but you. That's your personal economy.
Awesome. Thank you for answering that.
Absolutely. Anything I can do to help.
Yes. All right. So we're moving on. So we've talked
Yes.
about the pre-launch, the planning, the market research, the dream, the big dreams. I
The
totally get it. I
dreams.
have big dreams. I don't do small things.
Right. You need big dreams.
Yes.
So I guess now let's talk about the launch side. Like, isn't this everything everybody wants? Like the launching phase. And if we were to be honest though, we really are setting this 15-week time frame for like 1 week, 7 days, where we're full
Yeah.
out and we're in execution mode, where people are getting what we need. Like that is when the cart is open, really like 7 days. So we're doing all of this planning for the whole bang to be in a 7 day period where we're showing up like we've never showed up before. And so that's what this launch phase looks like. And yes, it is 4 weeks, but the 4 weeks, yeah, Larissa, the launch phase is the sexy part, kinda. This 4 weeks in the launch phase is really all about execution, right? You're creating the sales page that converts. You're putting in all of your tracking devices because even though we say we're turning off our GPS and all of the things that can locate where we are, truth be told, we're tracking our audiences. We want to know where they are. We want to be where they are. We're tracking to see if they come to our sales pages. We're tracking to see if they go to our thank you pages. We're tracking if they've clicked on the buy now. So sometimes tracking is what we need. So we're building out our sales page. We are testing our tech. And I know I've heard it. Tech is not my forte. I can't do tech. But let me just tell you that I'm a big proponent of conversation. And the number one conversation that we need to police is what we tell ourselves. So the more that you say you're not tech savvy, tech isn't your forte, listen, learn what you need to learn for your business. You don't need to know all the things. You need to know what's relevant to your business. Pick the easiest things that count. It doesn't matter. If you do it right, it'll still convert. So, tech is important, right? And I don't care if it's just, I use a web page on the back of my website, and people have no idea that they're on my website, and it's a sales page built on my website. But you don't have to pay for all this stuff. ClickFunnels is amazing. Kajabi is amazing. I love them all. But what works for me is because I'm a WordPress user, I use right on the back of my website because I pay for hosting every month and I'm going to maximize my resources. So while you are launching, maximize your resources. Pay for the things you need, especially as a first time launcher. Pay for the things you need and then enhance as you move along. People are not looking for perfection, they are looking for something that solves their problem. They're looking for the solution. Remember, you're not the Tylenol of the world. You are the solution. You end all the chaos. Okay.
I
So,
love that.
launching is about ending the chaos. It's about testing. It's about getting your tech right. You're continuously audience building. Don't believe that market research is just for the pre-launch phase. You're going to always talk to your audience. You're going to build your audience. You're going to nurture your audience. You're going to love on your audience. You're going to have sales conversations with your audience. Listen, and don't be afraid of the DMs. DMs are the gateway to sales. Okay. So get into the DMs and talk to them about what they're experiencing, why they feel the way they feel. It's nothing but added artillery to your arsenal. And then this is the one thing that I use. You don't have to use this, is optional, but I tell my people, think of a downsell offer. Why? Because I believe there's two types of clients. I believe there is your ultimate client, which is ready to buy. Boom, they're converting, right? But then I also think there's a bench audience. Your bench audience are people that are learning to trust you. They already like you. They'll spend money on small offers like your micro courses, but they're just not ready for the big course, whether it's money, time, or they're not sure about you. A downsell offer is something they can use because it builds your credibility in their life. Launch time is really about them turning the volume up on your voice and decreasing the volume on others. So that's what launch is. We take 3 big weeks to turn up the volume. We're on the megaphones. We're using mics. We're using amplifiers. We are doing everything we need to do. We're on podcasts. We're in Facebook groups with people. Our affiliates are just bombing people with your information. Like, how many people do they have on their street team? This is crazy. You know, you're everywhere your audience is. That's the everywhere strategy. That is your launch. Take those 3 weeks and make it amazing. And then open that cart and let's see all of your seeds start to spring up and you collect the harvest.
I love that so much. I'm so excited. I love launching. I love the momentum. I love the tech.
I like tech too. But
Yeah.
I have to be mindful. Everybody is not into the tech piece. Me, I'm like, let's build this sales page. Let's see how we can do this here. Let's add some videos here. That's me. But everybody, sometimes they get a little nervous. What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to do that? If it all fails,
Yes.
put them in a Facebook group and run them there, right?
Yeah. And I want to say that even though we love tech, every time we get, and I'm sure the same for Kimberly, every time I get into a new system and something new, it is overwhelming. Every
Yes, it
single
can
time. I
be.
do have some time. I have to spend some time. I have to get used to things. I try things. If they don't work,
Right.
they don't. But it is overwhelming, even for me who loves all of the technology. When
Yeah.
I get into something new, it is overwhelming, and that is okay, right?
It is totally okay. Totally okay. You will get through it. I believe in community. So I believe that have a circle of people around that can help, that can support. Because there are times you are totally going to want to abandon the mission, but your community will
Yes.
keep you accountable to the goals.
Yeah. I love community. Community is everything. Now let's talk
Yes.
about post-launch, because I would say that 90% of entrepreneur just skip it. Yes.
Absolutely, they do. The post launch period is just as important as your launching period. And I think we miss it in nature because the adrenaline is in that launch cycle. But you're right, we don't talk about post launch as much as we should. So, post launch for me is number one, fulfillment. You have to make your fulfillment side just as amazing as your launch. When you open the door, people should be like, "Oh my God," because it's the golden door to their
The
solution.
happy
It's
dance. Like, I'm
everything.
so excited I got
Yes.
this. Yes.
That's why I think fulfillment should really start off with a party. Like, who doesn't love a party? Even the people who stand on the wall love a party. Why? Because they're there. So, if you're having, I usually call it like a Sunday night business meeting. If your launch or your class starts on a Monday, Sunday night, it is party time. Listen, with the money guns, the confetti, the streamers, music, make the fulfillment piece just as amazing as your launch. I think you go all out and I think you have a good time. Party, like make it fun. It doesn't have to be so tied down, so strict, but everybody does it this way. I should be doing it that way. That's not the case. What works for your business is what works for your business. So have a party. Because if you start them off that way, you're going to make them work, right? That's the whole point. They have to work. Kick it off in some fun. Fulfillment is big. But this is the other part of what your post launch looks like. Remember how I just mentioned that whole downsell piece and how you should have something for your bench clients?
Yes.
You should have a whole email sequence to your downsell offer for people who, one, missed the cart, or two, just couldn't afford it, didn't have time, weren't ready, weren't in a space where they could opt into the big launch. The downsell offer is not something that you have to be live to do, but let your emails do the heavy lifting and provide like a little 5 day, 3 to 5 day sequence on a downsell offer and give them something that might be self-paced. Maybe they need a micro course. Maybe they need a little something that wasn't in or wasn't ready for them for the big offer. Give them something that ties it in, because what they can do is jump on your wait list. So for people who miss the cart, give them a wait list, because when your offer opens again, you don't need another 12, 15-week launch. You have a whole wait list that now you can talk to, that now you can nurture, that now you can show them how you work in your zone of genius. And let's be for real, anything that infuriates a wait list more is a behind the scenes of what could be.
Yes.
Give them behind the scenes.
Yes.
Give them what they need, right? They need to be provoked that next time I'm not missing it.
Mhm.
Why? Because your downsell offer is good and that behind the scenes is making them feel like I missed out on something amazing, but I'm not missing out next time. Post-launch seems simple, right?
But so necessary and so easy to just skip because it doesn't seem to be on the priority list,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
And I find that a lot of my clients are not prepared to launch. So in the behind the scene, they were not prepared to
Absolutely.
launch. So everything was last minute. And so by the end of the launch, there is no energy for a post launch.
Yeah.
It's just like, that's a next time thing. So being well prepared is everything.
Absolutely. I think that's
It's
key.
your sanity on the plate. Oh, that's so
Listen,
awesome.
post-launch makes it all worth it, right? That's when you start to do what we call in project management your post-mortem. That is important. Let's see, would
I
you
just
please
put a
further explain
question.
fulfillment? Absolutely. Fulfillment is when you start the course. It is fulfilling on the promise that your program or your offer has. So remember on your sales page or when we went live, you were telling them you're going to learn this, you're going to execute in this, your life will change that way. Fulfillment is you fulfilling on those promises. So no matter how long your program is or what you plan to do, fulfillment is about execution. It is making it happen. I hope that answers your question.
I believe so. That's so amazing. Thank you so much. And I know you have a gift for everybody today. I'm going to put it in the comments if you
Yes,
want to tell us a little bit about it.
absolutely. So, what I've designed a launch timeline. It is a part of my course that allows people a timeline that will help them determine what parts they need and when it should be executed. So, when I learned this, I used to be an event planner. And, event planning is about having all the pieces come together at the right
Mhm.
time. And I did so many weddings that I literally could do them on the back of my hand. And I was completing weddings. Like I would plan it out in like 7 days, send it to the bride and be like, here you go. Um, and this was like a long time ago. Not that long, but a long time ago. And so I was like, what if I put my launch timeline into what a wedding timeline looks like, right? Set up your registry, blah, blah, blah. And that's how I created my launch timeline. So when I bought into like one of the biggest coaching programs that I had for my career, I was like, okay, listen, can you look at my launch timeline? Because I'm implementing this and I need to make sure it works. She wrote back to me, where did you get this from? I was like, I made it up. She said, this is probably one of the most comprehensive launch timelines I've ever seen, and I'm stealing it. I was like, I mean, okay, but you teach launching. So when I tell you this launch timeline is going to help you tremendously, it is what we use, it's what we live by, it's what we teach, it's what we believe. This is ingrained in the Purpose, Power, and Profit Society, which is my building, my life, my business.
That is so exciting. I can't wait to check it out.
I'm super happy about it.
It's so awesome. So amazing. Thank you so much, Kimberly, for coming over and chatting about the launch. I mean, I know with the comments, everybody learned a lot. Link goes to, did I?
Oh, it goes to music. You know what? Let me give you this because let's see.
Thank you, Larissa, for checking the link.
Yeah, I know, right? Because I don't want you to go to the wrong thing. So let me do this. I actually created a post where they can just come onto my page and download. Like all they have to do is leave a comment, and they will be able to get it. So I'm going to send that to you as well, because I wanted to make sure that I had it set up 2 ways, just in case, as much as I love tech, it wasn't showing. And I may just need to make the page live.
There you go. I'm putting that in the comments right now.
Cool. Thank you.
I'm going to add
And
it
it
to
is a
our
pinned
email
post as
later.
well.
All right. Amazing. And I will send it by email with the replay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So much. I hope you have an amazing day. It was amazing to chat with you.
You as
We'll see
well.
you
Thank you
soon.
for having me.
Thank you. All right. So up next, we have Monica. Hello, Monica.
Oh,
It is so nice to chat with you. Today we are chatting about easy lead generation.
yes.
Which has to be a very common question among entrepreneurs to get lead, right? Not
Yeah.
everybody loves to build a business on Instagram, for example, right? So, so love that subject. I'd love if you can tell us a little bit about yourself before we just dive in and get started.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you can see on my screen, my name is Monica, and I'm the owner of Busy Life, Healthy Wife, where I help women navigate their busy lives, create profitable businesses from the ground up, and become healthy in mind, body, and spirit.
That's so exciting. So I know today we are talking about lead generation. Just pulling up here. Are you sharing slide or are we chatting today?
Just chatting today.
Oh, yeah, you're amazing. Well, let's just dive right in and get started.
All right, sounds good. So there are a lot of ways that you can get leads online. So I'm just going to go over some of my favorite ones and then also some little tips that I've learned along the way with it. So the very first one is I personally think that you should have a Facebook group. So now just having a Facebook group in general, it can either go really well or it can go really bad. The key thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that your Facebook group has your ideal clients in it. And you don't just set it and forget it. You have to continually engage with your ideal clients, the group members, and then also you want to make sure that you're doing trainings, you're showing that you are an expert in your field, or you're answering questions and things like that. Now, that in itself, just that can become a way for you to get leads, especially if you're answering their questions. And you can even say things like, I can explain this further in the DMs, or if you want, we can hop on a call or something like that. However, what I suggest is whenever you create your group, you actually ask for their email in the membership questions. And you tell them why you want the email. You don't just say, "Can I have your email?" You want to explain basically what kind of things you're going to be sending to them, or maybe they can get a freebie if they provide you with their email address. And then you will then use email marketing. Now I'll talk about that in just a second. Now, one key thing that you really want to pay attention to is if you have to manually approve someone into your group and they provide you your email, you have to get it before you approve them. Otherwise, it is gone. You can't get that back.
I have been there.
Yes, me too. Now, if it's an automatic approval, those will stay on there for 28 days, but then it's gone. So you definitely want to be pretty quick about getting those emails and putting them down. And sometimes people put in the wrong emails. Sometimes they do it on purpose, but most of the time they don't do it on purpose, and it's just a mistake, and those emails will bounce. And that's okay. You do still have a lot of other emails. And just to kind of show you like the proof in the pudding with that is I started asking for emails with my group, and I was able to grow my group about 325, 350 within about 2 months.
That's incredible.
So,
congratulations.
Yes, huge, absolutely huge. And a lot of people may ask, okay, well, that's great. I can get a group. I can put my membership questions to have the email. But like, how do I get people in my group to begin with? The biggest, easiest way is to go into one of those bigger groups. I, a lot of times, go into the Women Helping Women Entrepreneur group. Now, for that one, you do have to pay to promote, but there are a lot of other ones you don't have to pay to promote. And then you say something, you create a post that says something like this: who here wants to join my group that, and then you explain who it's for, or you explain what you're going to talk about. And then I'm telling you, you're going to get a lot of people in there. I was able to go from about 120 people in my group to now I have almost 700 people in just like 2 months. And the majority of that was in like a week and a half. So,
it was just posting on the right group, right?
Posting the right group and making sure that message is super, super clear, because I had tried a couple of times and it didn't work. It flopped. I had like 5 people. Which isn't a total flop because it's still 5 people. But, but when you have the right copy, when you explain very, very clear on who it's for, those people are going to be super interested and want to join.
That's exciting. Yeah. So explaining it, taking the big words out of your post, right?
Right. Exactly.
Simple, to the point. Yes, I love that.
Exactly. Another way to get leads. Now, this one isn't necessarily you're going to be having direct conversations, but it's making sure that your stuff is accessible. I see so many times where people say, that they sell things online, but there's no links. There's nothing that even says DM me for, your if you want to buy or something like that. There's nothing on there. But apparently they sell something, So make sure that you have your links on your personal profile. There's a section where you can even tag your business as like for who you work for. You can tag your business and then it'll go to your business page. You can make posts on your personal and your business page, just letting them know, hey, this is what I do. And then, of course, making sure that they know that you're the expert by answering questions, having trainings, or having tips and tricks that will be helpful for them. And that can just be a lead that you maybe not necessarily will know about, but they're watching. They're the lurkers, they're watching and seeing what you do. And
I'm a lurker, by the way. Like,
yeah.
I am that person. I am always watching. Yes.
Same, exactly. And I've had sales on my website from people that I've never talked to in my life. And then I just got, ding, you got a sale. I'm like, who's this person? Never talked to them. So definitely people are looking, they're watching and seeing what you're doing. Absolutely. So I know that you, Sophie, actually talked about freebies yesterday.
Yes.
And so freebies is another great way to get leads. So, of course, the best way to do a freebie is to have an email opt-in. And then you're able to get that email and send them the freebie. Now, I like to do the freebie sending in 2 ways. So the first way is sending them an email. Hey, thank you so much for subscribing to my email list. Here's the freebie that you requested. And then also, especially if it's a training, immediately as soon as they click the submit button, it goes to the next page and there's the training. Now, what will make your leads potentially turn into sales is if you have something that goes after that. So you can talk about your paid option, your paid offer, or you can have that, below or above your training, or you can even mention it, in your email, in your initial first email. So those are definitely really good things. And the opt-in doesn't have to be super complicated. It really, really doesn't. I've had people who use things like ClickFunnels and things like that. I personally just use my webpage. I have WordPress, and so I use a plugin called Seed Prod, and it works amazing. I love it, and I utilize that with MailChimp. which MailChimp is actually free for, X amount of subscribers and things like that.
Yes, tomorrow,
Yeah.
make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. So tomorrow we're going to do the training on how to create the funnel with a few free options. And the training will also be uploaded to YouTube and stay on
Awesome.
YouTube so that if you're not ready tomorrow, then you can take your time, not too much time,
Good. Yeah.
but you'll be able to create a simple opt-in for your freebie for absolutely free. So we'll take you step by step through
Excellent.
that tomorrow. That's exciting.
Yes, that's super exciting and very needed as well, I think. Because that was one of the most confusing things for me when I was setting all of that up, is how to actually deliver the content. And it took a while to get that figured out because, oh, she's asking for the name. So it's Seed, so SEED, and then Prod, PROD, like productivity. So like a shortened version of productivity. There you go. Yeah, exactly. So that was definitely a very hard thing for me to figure out, was how to actually provide the content. So the fact that we're going to have a funnel up on YouTube, a how-to on that, is excellent. The next thing that I suggest is getting in conversations. That is the best way to get quality leads. So if you have people already asking questions in Facebook groups or already commenting that they need help with X, Y, and Z, then reach out to them. Either, reply to their comment and explain, the answer that they're needing. Or you can say, hey, can I send you a quick DM? And then you can move it over to the DMs and talk through that. And I personally don't like when people just directly DM me, because I'm like, whoa, who are you? I don't know you. Why are you DMing me? So I always suggest asking first that you can send them a DM, and maybe explaining to them why you want to send a DM. Like, you could say something like, hey, for me personally, I would say something like, hey, I'm a business coach. I can go over this with you, but it is kind of long. Is it okay if I send you a DM? And most of the time people are going to say yes, or they just won't see the notification and they'll totally ignore it because they don't see it. And so that is super, super helpful. Now, when you have leads, whether you have the emails or you have it, from people just looking at your stuff or commenting, or you've created these conversations, you need to be able to track them. If you're not tracking them, they're just there and they're going to be out of your mind. You're not going to think about it. Or you're going to be like, oh, there was this person that I talked to about this thing. I know that my program would really help them. Oh, who was it? So you definitely want to track them. There's a lot of different ways that you can do it. You can do it through Excel, which is free, as long as you have Excel. You can use Trello. You can use Access. There's tons of ways. Or you can just do old school and just have a folder that has all their information. So you don't have to make it super complicated. But what you do want to do is you want to have their name. If you have their email, or any other kind of contact information. And then you want to put in relevant information like conversations you've had, what their business is, what they've mentioned that their struggles are, anything like that, so you can reference back to it and say, oh, okay, well, this person needs help with, Instagram marketing. And then you can say you have a training about Instagram marketing. You say, hey, when we talked before, I know that you had mentioned that you need some help with Instagram marketing. I actually just created a training. Here it is. Or if you're interested, I can send you the link or something like that. So it's totally okay to follow up with these leads. And if you have a way to track the leads and what they're interested in, what they need help with, then you can easily do that. And since I said that I was going to talk about email marketing, let me go into that too. So when you decide you're going to launch something, or you're going to sell a new product or service, it's important to think ahead of time. So if you're going to start a new group, or if you have a group and you're going to start promoting it more and you want those emails, or you're going to do a freebie, you want to really, do this, in my opinion, several weeks out before you're actually going to launch something. Because when you send that first email that says, thank you so much for joining my email list, what have you, which I definitely think that you should have a welcome email. And I have mine on automatic. So as soon as someone hits that list, they get the email. It's all automatic. I don't have to worry about it. But you want to nurture the email list. And this is why you want to do it a little bit before you're going to launch them, because people don't want to immediately get onto your list and then immediately get sold to. They don't want that. So it's good to provide them helpful content or a story about you or something like that. So you want to do several emails first, do the whole jab, 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 right hook idea,
I love that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, me too. And then you can sell to them. I don't like emails every day. Some people do, and that's totally fine. I don't. So I usually space it out, once a week or maybe twice a week. And that's why you have to do it ahead of time, because you have to say, okay, well, I'm going to send out this email this week. And then next week, I'm going to send out this one. And next week, I can send out that one. And if you use something like MailChimp, then you can actually go ahead and write all the emails out and you can schedule them. And ideally, you would actually create something called a customer journey where it shows them where they're going to go each step of the way. So, okay, they opted into this freebie. So what's something else that they might like? And something else that they might like? And what would convince them, oh, okay, I'm an expert in my field? And then what's something that would provoke them to go ahead and buy my product or service? And you can set all of those types of things up if you have some sort of email system that automatically sends out your emails for you.
That's so exciting. Thank you so much for all the tip. If there's any question for Monica, you can drop them into the chat. But that is amazing. So building your audience, building your Facebook group, building your email list is something that, yes, we use heavily during a launch, but it's something that you should be doing the entire year.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Yes. So sometimes we do something specific. Sometimes in my list, I want to target people that might be more interested into a branch of I'm launching, but building the email list, this is definitely something that should be done all year long. So we have Larissa says, thanks, Monica. You got into some of the nuts and bolts. We do love that. We do love getting our hands dirty. I know that you have an amazing freebie for everybody. I'm going to drop it in the chat. Would you like to tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, absolutely. So I have a free training for you guys, and it's basically how to make your first 5K. And I detail how I was able to help one of my clients make her first 5K and how you can repeat the same steps that she made.
That is so amazing. I'm just going to drop it on the Facebook group as well.
Excellent.
Just to make sure that everybody has it, and it will be into the email as well. So that is amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for giving us some of your amazing knowledge.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yes. Are you in the Facebook group yet? The collaboration
Yes.
corner? Yes. Awesome. So if you have any questions for Monica, drop into the Facebook group and ask anything.
Thank you.
You are so welcome. We'll chat soon. I lost my mouse. All right. So I'm going to give you 5 minutes while I talk here, and we're going to get dirty. We're going to get into some action. What we are going to do is something that I do mostly one-on-one or with my paid clients, and I'm going to blow your mind. All right. So what you need to go get, maybe you need to go to the bathroom, take a pee break. You just need some paper and you need some pens. If you love color, you can go for that. This is going to be super, super, super simple, but it's going to change your life. I'm going to tell you why I do this and how often I do it. Okay, so we're going to conduct an audit. If you're always asking yourself, I don't know what's next, this is for you. If you are ever so lightly confused about what you're supposed to be doing next into your business, or even if your business is ready for a launch, this is for you. This is everything. Now, I do this often, but keep in mind, I have some slight OCD, ADHD. I'm like a squirrel that get distracted. Like, I don't know. We'll just go with the squirrel. I lost the words. I don't know where I was going with this analogy, but I get distracted all the time, right? Like I can be distracted with a funnel. I can be distracted with an email list. I can get distracted all day long. Well, by doing this audit or reviewing it, it needs to be visual. Okay, so I need to be reminded very often of what my priorities are in order to grow my business. So I look at, not necessarily do it, but I look at it weekly. Now, do you need to look at it weekly? Maybe not. Maybe it's a little bit over, but some people look at their goals daily. If you're somebody that gets distracted easily, you need to write down your goals daily. You need to make sure that those goals and those action steps that actually going to get to your goals, you need to see those daily. Also, if you're somebody that at the end of the month, so let's say at the beginning of the month, I have those huge goals. Okay, I'm going to make $10,000. I'm going to grow my list 5,000 extra subscribers this month. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And at the end of the month, you're always looking back with WTF. I was so busy, yet sort of feel like I did not accomplish anything. And I did not even take a step towards my goal. This is for you. This is going to change your entire business. So this method of the squares that we are going to do is something that I learned from my mentor, Maria Went. Sorry, talk too fast. But we're going to do my version of the audit, and we're going to do why we take this on the paper is so that you can have a very, very, very clear vision of what comes next. So we're going to get started. Let me know into the comments when you have your piece of paper. And yes, she's so amazing. I love Maria. She's just like, you just get onto a call and you're so motivated. I love being with people and grabbing their energies. So I am very, very mindful of who I hang with. Yes, even on the online world, because I, like a little sponge, will absorb all of their energy, and then I get super motivated, and it's amazing. So let me know in the comments. I need to know that you are ready with a piece of paper and a pen. It does not matter. And we are going to start, and we're just going to create a big square around, and we are going to separate it in 8 squares here at the top. So let me know in the comments when you have done this, because this is going to completely change your business. I promise. This is like magic. This is amazing. If you're wondering, this is pre-workout. I have no plans of working out, but it's delicious, and caffeine. It has caffeine in it. Fun fact about me, while you're all getting your pens, your paper, I am some type of morning person, so you can all hate me at the same time, who does not drink coffee. That shit tastes gross. I can't drink a cup of coffee unless it doesn't taste like coffee. But I also have children who don't sleep. Sometimes I get tired like everybody else. So my pre-workout is a lifesaver. All right, so we have our paper. we have our squares and we've separated into 8 column. And then here in the bottom, I want 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I know what you're thinking. She's on crack. This is probably useless. And this looks like it's childish, but I swear this is everything. So let me know in the comments when you have completed your squares. So again, it's just a piece of paper. It does not even need to be straight. I obviously did this ahead of time because I knew this was coming, I guess. So I want 8 here and 5 total on the side. All right, so the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to number the columns on the side like this. Okay, so I have a 1, a 2, a 3, and a 4. All right, so now I start here. So right here, I'm gonna put an M, and an M is for mindset. And we're going to break these down, so don't worry. Okay, so I put an M here, and M is for mindset. Now here, I'm going to put a C. C is for clarity. Maybe one day I'm going to find some funny terms for all of them, but for today, we're just going to keep it simple. All right, so in my third one, I'm going to put an A. A is for attract. I will put them into the comments as well to make sure that you're following along. So here, I have an M for mindset, a C for clarity, and an A for attract. The next square is a C for convert. All right, so this is where I'm at. So I have an M for mindset, a C for clarity, an A for attract, and a C for convert. All right, next up is deliver. So deliver is a nice, whoa, it always looks funny on the camera. And I have a D here for deliver. All right, my next one is an A, and it's an A for audience. All right, and my last one is a UP. All right, so UP up. All right, so we have upsell and upsell. Yeah, upsell, downsell. There should a U and a D. Sorry. Alphabet is hard, right? I'm just going to go ahead and put those into the comments. So I have, sorry, I pressed things. All right, so I have mindset. I have clarity. I have attract. I have convert, deliver, audience. I don't know if an audience is with an E or an A, so if I misspelled it, I apologize. Blame it on the fact that I am French. All right, and the last one is an upsell and a downsell. Okay, we're gonna rank these. Okay, so let's start with your mindset. All right. Unlike so many coaches that have told me in the past that all my failures were because of my mindset, like it was some magical unicorn. Mindset can look like I'm procrastinating. So even though I'm really, really, really busy, I'm never actually doing the things that I should to move my business forward. This could be because I don't know how to do it. So sometimes I've seen tech to be that something that people like to push aside until they have time to figure it out. It can be talking with clients because maybe you don't know how to sell in a DM. Maybe you don't know how to sell, and you find that you're not doing it. Maybe you're not doing your follow-ups. And it can be just because you don't know how to do it. It can be for something a bit deeper because you don't feel like you can deliver. Okay, so mindset is big. Mindset is also that we have those thoughts behind our inner brains, right? We have those thoughts that are on autopilot, right? So the best advice that I can give you is to slow down and pay attention, right? So do you have a really, really big dream? And then once you're actually getting to do the work, you bring yourself down every single time, right? Because you're like, oh, but can I really do this? Okay, so now we're talking about mindset. So if I was to rank, right here, your mindset, 1 being, I have a lot of mindset problems. It's my biggest issue. To 4, my mindset's doing great. Maybe you have a mindset coach, right? So we're gonna go rank it. So just give it a 1 to 4 and just put like a little dot. So I'm gonna go, for the fun of this exercise, mindset, I'm giving myself a 3. So I'm really, really good at recognizing when I have a blockage, what to do. Sometimes I need somebody to give it to me straight, be honest, and let me know, like I don't know, like a little slap in the face. Sometimes I just need some cold, hard truth in order to move forward, and that is okay. That is okay. Okay, here we have clarity. Are you clear on what you are selling? Are you clear on the problem that you're solving? Are you clear on your niche? Listen, if you are not clear on this one, it's very hard to move forward in your business. And we're going to get into that. But for right now, how clear are you? How clear are you on what you are selling, your niche, exactly who you're selling to is very, very important. So go ahead and rank that from a 1, not clear at all, no idea, I don't even have a program, to 4, I know where I'm going, I know who I'm selling to, I know exactly what problem I'm solving. All right. Open the wrong side. Okay, so I put a 4 here. It does not matter, like put what applies to you. All right, so here, how well do I attract people? Okay, so what is attraction? It depends, okay? So it looks different for everybody. Okay, I love to grow my email list. I love to host collaborations. I'm just open a new Facebook group, which is going to be my focus. So you're going to see it grow really, really fast in the next few months because that is my focus. I also started a new Instagram profile, but you'll see that it's not as big as a focus. But wherever you are, wherever you decide that you're going to attract your people, wherever your avatars are hanging out, how good are you at attracting? Now, attracting means a little bit more than they liked my post. There needs to be some interactions. There needs to be, I'm interested in what you have to offer. Okay, there needs to be something that leads to, yes, I am interested, tell me more. So if your DMs or your emails are always answered and you have no problem with attracting people, go with a 4. If you don't know how to attract, if you're not attracting the right people, go with a 1. So for the purpose of this, we're going to give it a 2. All right. Now, out of the people that you attract, how well do you convert? This is the sale, okay? Are you selling? Are you making a profit from your business? So out of the people that you attract, how well do you convert? Now, I also want to say that if you've attracted and talked to 3 people this month and 3 converted, that is a very good conversion, right? So it's not necessarily I have a sell of I sold 10,000. It's more of how many am I attracting and how many am I selling. All right. So for the purpose of this exercise, I'm going to give myself a 3. Okay. Now we go into the D here, into the deliver. Okay. So how well are you delivering your program or your product? Okay. So how good is the retention? Are people buying again? So sometimes even that, you have to think that this could be a huge mindset block, right? Because if I don't know how I'm going to deliver, if I'm all over the place, this goes back to the mindset, right? We are going to be panicking. So how well are you delivering your product? So I'm going to go ahead and give myself a 4 for the purpose of this exercise. But be completely honest. If you're cheating on this, you're only cheating yourself. It does nothing to me, right? So here is the audience. Obviously, if you have not noticed, this is sort of my area of expertise. I love building an audience. And it's a concern, actually. In the question that was in the Facebook group, a lot of people are concerned about building the audience. But really, 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 really often, you want to jump from the start and you want to start building your audience. Now, I've been doing this for a long time, and I've been behind the scene on a lot of events. And I can tell you that 99% of the time, if you jump all of this, building an audience is completely useless, because did you build the right audience? And if you can't sell, what's the point, right? So skipping these steps can have some very, very bad ripple effect into your business. So building an audience obviously is amazing, but skipping the steps before may not help you build a business as fast as you think you would be building it. So for the purpose of this, because that is a big problem, I'm going to put a 2. And then we have the upsell and the downsell. So if you don't have one, obviously put a 1. It's all good. If you have one and it's converting pretty well, go ahead and put a 4. Now, an upsell is really something that is more advanced, just like the audience building. All right, so I'm going to go and put it a 3. Okay, so at the end, it looks like a children's, craft, but it does not matter. So I'm just going to go, what I'm going to do, so do the same. So, whoops, I start here, and I'm just going to make a line. I'm just going to do it here, so it'll be easier. So let's go with purple. So I'm just going to make a line here. So let me just do it quickly. Okay, so I made a line here. Okay, so I just, connected the dot, right? So I connected the dot here. So it's very, very, very simple, very effective. So if this was my graph, if this was my business, what I need to concentrate right now in the next few weeks is to actually attract people to my business. So if I was in your shoes and if this was my business, what I need to learn right now is not how to build an audience. It's not how to launch. It's not how to sell, is how to attract. This is what I need to learn. This is the time where you put your blinders on and you need to learn how to attract. Okay, so if you do this and you're always really, really, really focused on what you need to learn to bring your business forward, you will have a successful business. The problem, especially like there's so many business coaches, there's so many things that you can learn, there's so many things that you can do better. It doesn't matter where you are in your business, there is always something that you can do better. And it's okay, it's absolutely normal. We're always learning, we're always evolving, we're always looking at the numbers. There's so many platforms. Maybe you want to expand, but this is the base. This is the base of your business. So, mindset, I am not a mindset coach. I'm just going to go and put it out there. I have worked with a lot of mindset coaches. We have 2 neuro coaches that are jumping on. So if you have questions on Friday, make sure you jump on Friday. They're amazing. But mindset, the biggest question that I ask myself daily is to look for the proof. And that sounds like a little bit of crazy, but I look for the proof. So have you guys read Grant Cardone? Is called Be Obsessed or Be Obsessed or Be Average, I think. Awesome book. Okay, but something that he says on the book that I ask myself almost daily is that right? Is that true that I can't achieve this? Or did I just convince myself that this was the norm? Did I just convince myself to go play small because it was scary, because I'm being kept in the safe? Or does that make sense? That is something that I ask myself every single day. Obviously, I don't do anything small. I always go big, but it is scary. It is scary. You know, the first time I created a video, it was a summit, and it was I don't even remember. Anyways, like a few months ago, a year ago, it doesn't matter. The first time I hosted a big event, it was through recorded video. Oh my goodness. I got through it. They were amazing, amazing interviews, but it was, first of all, I thought I was going to vomit. I had to restart a few times. I was so nervous. And back then, just thinking that doing a big live event, I believe, I don't know if there's any children listening, so I'm trying not to swear, but I would have said fork no. Here we go. We're fork this. Okay, I would have said no. Absolutely not. Like, I am not doing this, because what if I screw up? Obviously, if you've been here for a few days, you know I trip all over my words. It's all good. But I've evolved, okay? And that is okay. That is growth. That is where your business grows. Okay, so you don't need to jump from here to here. You just need to do it slowly. You need to go from a 1 to a 2 to a 3 to a 4, okay, to get your business to grow. Now, the next step after you've done this is to do a complete time audit. Okay, if you are really, really serious about your business, you're going to stop. You're going to stop. Well, not today. Please stay for the rest of this series. But stop registering from training to training to training to training. Just take a deep breath and slow down just enough to know exactly what you need to do to move your business forward. And how much time do you have to do it? So sometimes it's really easy to sign up for the next program, and it tells you to go through this giant elaborated launch, but you have 0 time to do it. You know what that does? That creates anxiety. Also, sometimes we're really, 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 really busy at accomplishing nothing. So what you do is you do a 7-day, I recommend 7-day time audit. So this is so easy. Take a piece of paper. You can do it in Excel. It does not matter. I'll answer the question in just a second. So the time audit is every 15 or 20 minutes. Okay, so from the time you get up to the time you go to bed, what do? You'll notice that there is about 3 to 4 hours a day where you'll look and you'll be like, what was I doing? What was I doing? So do a time audit. I'm just going to bring a question on the screen here. Okay, so why does converting and deliver comes before audience? Okay, I have spent the last year behind the scene on people creating, I can create events in my sleep. Okay, events like audience building. Okay, so we're thinking you can do tons of things to build your audience, but they can be time consuming. Okay, so it is very time consuming to build your audience. Once you're at building your audience, you want to know that you can make a sale. Okay, so I have been behind the scene on a lot of summits, a lot of live collaborations, a lot of entrepreneurs who went directly into audience building. And what I found is that there was no sale. There was no sale after, because there was the fear of selling. There was that they did not know what to sell. They did not know how to sell. All of that came with this crazy, epic overwhelm. Oh, sorry. So I'm French. I talk with my hands. So I do apologize. But 99% of the people that I have seen that jumped into their audience building, it didn't fix the problem. So if you're thinking that you're going to build an audience so that you can create more sale and easier, the ugly truth is that it's not going to happen, because you skip the steps and you don't know how to sell, and you are in the delivery portion. A lot of people are overwhelmed. Am I going to deliver? Now, delivering does not mean that it has to be elaborate, but you need to take a deep breath, sit down, and you need to go through the steps, exactly how it's going to happen. But everybody has different businesses, right? This can be a live event that you're selling, a live workshop, and that is totally okay, as long as you know how you're going to deliver. It doesn't mean that you have to stay in these steps for months. Not at all. You can stay in these steps for a few hours. You just need to sit down. Do I have the systems? Am I good? Because every of these steps have specific systems, and a system does not have to be complicated. When I say system, it does not need this elaborate, like months and months of setting up websites and everything. Things can stay simple and you can be so successful. So at Clear, I build six-figure business in less than a year with referrals only, no website, no social media, no nothing. Listen, things don't have to be complicated, but they need to be in place before you can scale up. Because once you start building that audience, the sales are going to come in. If you did everything right, if you know how to sell, if you know what problems you're going to fix, things are going to be easy. So hopefully I answered that properly. Let me know into the comments if that made sense. We have Larissa. It's like getting groceries and cooking the meal before dinner. The guest arrives. Yes. So it can be done. You can jump in into this big elaborate plan of, building your audience and hoping it all works. But people that did that fell into more of a burnout and were too scared and afraid and overwhelmed to launch and did not launch. And the last thing I want for anybody is to go through a burnout. I have been there, and it's just not something we want to do, right? All right, awesome. I'm so happy this answered your question. So definitely don't feel like you have to stay at each step forever and forever. It does not. Sometimes it's just to have like, okay, I just need to take this day to organize my shit. Sometimes it's just as simple as that. If you're not sure, on the clarity, who you serve, what problem, you need to get onto market research calls. You need to start talking to your ideal client. You need to start doing the research. And again, that is not meant to be weeks and years, but you have to take the time to do this. So what I do, once I know what I need to do, what I need to learn, now I have my time audit. So I know how to better manage my time. I have a lot of resources and things that we can talk about if you're wondering about productivity and time that we can get into maybe at some other, other time during this workshop. So let me know. But once you have a time audit, you have a very, again, clear on paper, where is your time going, right? Now, if I have my time audit and I see what is something that people struggle with, I think content, right? Creating content. So I see that during my week, I was creating content for, let's say something ridiculous, because I have seen it like 20 hours a week of creating content. I want to know in the comments, do you feel like you're you're constantly creating content? That's something that you're like, okay, well, this is something that I need to create a system, or I need to do better. I'm just going to reach out. That's something you can go into the collaboration corner Facebook group and say like, okay, seriously, how do you guys do your content? And it doesn't have to be something you have to pay for. Get an accountability buddies, talk to people that are in the field, in the Facebook group, and ask how they create content, and I swear there's going to be a sea of people answering your question and helping you out. Okay, so once we have done, I know what I have to get better at, and I know the time that I have, it's time to set a goal. Okay, and that is super, 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 super important. Don't skip your goals. So what you start with is you start by taking, if you're me, several pieces of paper and doing a brain dump. You want to dump it all. Dump all of your ideas on paper. Now, usually what I use for the next step is these. And a very big wall. Maybe tomorrow I'll have to show you my bedroom wall because it is ridiculous. Okay, so I use Post-it notes and I use a wall. Okay, so at the top of the wall, you can use maybe like even a kitchen table or a space. You just need space. Just work with me here and just trust me that you need space. Okay, so at the top, I need my goal. Okay, so this can be your 30-day goal. This can be 90-day goal. 90-day works better. It's more achievable. You can break it down. So this is my goal. Okay, so I have my goal. So don't go and pick somebody else's goal. This is a goal that means something to you. You have your one goal. Then I have everything that I dumped onto my paper. I create 15-minute tasks and I break it down. So everything is broken down to 15-minute task. I color code everything. I am sort of crazy. It's okay. We're running with this. So I color code everything. So I have a color for things that I need to learn. Okay, the course that I want to do. So the things that I want to learn, or a specific color. Okay, so tech is a specific color. My husband is the best. Obviously, he helps me with anything that I ask. So tech is one of those where he can just go grab a sticky and get it done. Right? And then I put everything. So I basically put everything into categories, right? So once you have everything out, okay, sometimes it takes a few days to do this step, so don't get overwhelmed. So once you can see it all, you can organize it all because you can see it, okay? So first off, I'm going to put everything by category. So let's say you wanted to start a blog. Well, you're going to break that into 15-minute tasks, and you're going to have it all into order. What you want to learn, your social media content, whatever it is. Maybe you're creating a course. I am in the middle of some epic, video content creation. So everything is laid out. Once it's all on the wall, once you know exactly what you need to learn, oops, this is really hard to do backwards on camera, guys. So once you know what you need to do this month, the next 90 days to make your business explode, once you have all of your to-do lists, you organize. Okay, so yeah, this can wait because this does not get me to my goal this month. This, learning how to create a blog, learning how to launch Pinterest, learning how to create your YouTube account is not going to get to your specific goal this month. So it doesn't go at the top of the priority. And now that all of your tasks are set and has a time attached to each task, and you did your time audits, you know the time that you can realistically set to that task, you can create a plan. You can create a plan that's going to work for you, and then you need to stick to that plan. Now, it's very easy for me to sit at my desk and know exactly what my priority is, and I can be like, hey, I have an hour. I can do these 4 tasks, right? And this is how I focus. I focus on that task. That was a lot of talking. I'm just going to grab some water. But if you do this, this is everything. This is everything. If you don't know what's next, if you don't know, like, this can bring so much clarity to your business. All right. So I know that we have a speaker waiting to come on. So we have Jenny. Hopefully I'm saying this properly. I'm just going to bring her onto the screen. Are you with us? We're going to talk about creating and storytelling your brand USP. All right, so we're just waiting for Jenny to come on. I know we are a little bit early. Oh, hello.
Sorry, I'm getting a really big, let me just try to close out of some things. I'm seeing a really bad lag, but that's okay. It's probably on my end.
That's okay. Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks. How are you doing today?
I am doing amazing. Thank you so much for coming on. I am so excited because we are talking, it's a whole other type of branding. We know branding often with our colors, with our font. So we're going to talk storytelling. So I'm really, really, really excited to dive in. But before we dive in, did you want to tell us a little bit more about you, about who you are, about yourself?
Sure. So my name is Janny. I'm a business strategist, consultant, and brand loyalty expert. And my business, Ginger Seeds, has been it's really special to me. It's been in the works since about 2017. That's when I finished my master's degree, and I had a focus on sustainability. So I really wanted to work with sustainable brands or mission-led brands. And so now currently I am working with mission-led brands or those who are interested in learning more about what it means to be a mission-led brand and how to integrate and align their values with their brand, and then how to convey that message to audiences so that you build brand loyalty.
That is so exciting. So let me know today. Are you sharing slides or are we just
Well, I was thinking about sharing slides, but I didn't want it to be like a basic PowerPoint. And I wanted to leave it open for if you have any questions. But I guess what I was hoping to focus on today was specifically some strategies and tools on how you can create your brand story in a way that tells a story. Because
it's exciting.
Yeah, there's been a lot of research in this area. A lot of people think, well, why storytelling? What's the big deal? But actually, storytelling helps our brain understand and process information. And we actually become more engaged with the information that we're presented in a story. So that's why, whether it's like a movie or a book or real life experience, your brain doesn't know the difference. So that's why if you read a book and you can imagine what you're reading in your mind, making the movie in your mind, you can retain the information better than if someone's just spitting out facts about, what that book was about.
I love that. And you can be really mad when the movie comes out because it's not what you had in mind.
Sure ruins it. Yeah, and that's also part of it, is because your brain creates, fills in the gap where the story maybe isn't as clear, or that your brain helps kind of fill the gaps with character development where it's not necessarily stated explicitly. So that's why when your movie comes out and it's different to how your memory is, it's almost like your brain is being told, oh, your memory wasn't correct. So
Yes.
kind of strange, but also really cool. And this is very useful on how we can spread and convey our message to our audiences or potential audiences.
That is so true. So how do we get started?
So my first step I do with everybody is obviously to understand your brand, what your values are, and then also thinking about and creating your ideal client avatar. Who are they? What are their values? And then you find the overlap between your values and their values. And that's kind of the sweet spot that you would really want to hone in on. From there, you're going to use that as your USP, which USP is unique selling proposition. It's simply what makes your brand different from other similar businesses. So, for example, if you're a toothpaste company, something as basic as that, why is your toothpaste different than every other toothpaste on the market? So, do you get whiter teeth faster? Is it organic? Is it, does it have some really funky flavors that are really enticing to people? What makes you stand out? So then, as you're thinking about this, think about who your ideal client is through market research, thinking about what is it that they need, what motivates them for even buying, like why do they make a purchase? And then also figuring out what they think about your product or offering and asking and finding information on how you can improve it. And then once you kind of have that back end stuff done, the business stuff, then
I want to say too, because often we sit in a dark corner of the house, and we're just like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to answer those questions. It's fine if you do not know. You need to ask. It is completely okay to go on market research call and ask. If you're like me, your imagination is like small, like a split pea. Is that a thing? I don't know. Doesn't matter. But if it's not coming to you, go get the information.
Yep. And also this is something that I personally struggled with. I thought I had a great offer. I thought it was fantastic. I love it still. It was crickets, and it didn't really resonate with people, or it's not really what they need now. So, even if you think you have a wonderful idea, you need to make sure that your wonderful idea is aligned with what's being needed in the market. And then you can use that as a catalyst and figure out what people need. And then you can find, again, kind of a happy blend of your ideas and what you love and what brings you joy, and then what is actually needed. And actually, for what you were saying, it's kind of it's a little bit of the grunt work, but it's also really fun and engaging. And you get to really tap into their brains. And honestly, I thought when I was doing my market research, people were just going to try to be nice. Oh, I mean, they're nice, but they are honest. People will tell you what to think. And that is what you need.
That's good. That's good. You need some honesty. Yeah. So, I mean, my bluntness is why I probably will never work as a mindset coach. Like,
Right.
no tax at all whatsoever. Like, there's.
Well, I say I'm direct with tact, or I'm blunt. Like, so yeah, I can be pretty like, and
Yeah.
I have to make sure that sometimes how I message myself is not sugarcoating, but not necessarily feeling like people are like, whoa, on the defensive.
Yeah,
So.
for sure. For sure.
So then after you kind of work that out, which I have a brand loyalty workbook I'm willing to share with everybody who's watching. I'll reach out to you and get that available for whoever would like it. And that really helps, again, guide you through, kind of this back end stuff, figuring out your ideal client and really getting crystal clear on them and what their values are. Because especially if you're going to have a mission-led brand, or you really want to maybe think about adding a mission or something more with a kind of a deeper impact or more meaningful to your brand, that's really, really crucial. You need to know what they value and what you value, because that's going to be what you're going to use as your, to promote your mission or a catalyst for your mission. And then from there, we go into storytelling. And one of the most famous elements of storytelling is the hero's journey framework. Have you ever heard of that, Sophie?
I haven't.
Okay. Well, it's really interesting. It's essentially a formula that almost every book, movie, TV show, like everything out there uses it. And there's technically 17 steps, but of course I've shortened it and made it more concise so that it can be digestible and everyone can get started with it. And it really just comes down to 3 major parts. Essentially, there's an external reason. You have a hero, right? And there's an external reason for why that hero is encountering a problem, and they have a call to action. Something needs to change. So that then leads them to finding or being guided to or encountering a mentor, a teacher, or someone to show them the way, help guide them. They go through their journey, they experience obstacles and tribulations, and then they come out changed and for the better, and they have a desired outcome or result. So this is the most basic foundation of it, but I mean, everything follows this. Harry Potter follows this. I always think of the Karate Kid. That was the first thing that I always thought of. You have Mr. Miyagi, he's the mentor. They had the obstacles of him having to overcome, wash in, wash out, learning the skills, wash on, wash off, learning the skills. And then, before he knows it, he's encountering his big challenge. But really, the big challenge, we see it as an external opponent, but really it's your internal, it's the change that you have internally. And we can use this for your story, for your brand story. How? Well, your customer or your client is the hero. You as a brand are their mentor or teacher. And actually, I do have, I guess I lied. I do have a little quick, I have something I could share with you real fast. Do you mind?
For sure.
Okay, sorry. I'm not sure. Do I share my screen correct?
Yeah, so you share your screen. It's like the third little button with a line on it that said share screen. It's going to pop up. You're going to choose the Chrome tab and
which is so obvious and makes total sense.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I did use a new platform today, so
yeah, it's pretty, thank God it's pretty self-explanatory. It's pretty user-friendly. So that's really nice. So we have the hero's journey for your brand story. And essentially, you start here. You've got a pain point. Your customer is the hero. So they have the pain point. Then after they have their pain point, they're like sick of it. They're, I need to solve this problem. So that leads them to finding or encountering you, their mentor, their teacher, someone who will guide them towards a solution to address their problem. Your product. Then, they use your product. Maybe there's a hiccup, maybe there's some obstacles along the way, but at the end, they come out victorious. They love your product, they conquer their problem, and that also leads to their success and feeling victorious and your success, because now they're happy and you've just converted someone into a brand ambassador and a brand follower and a brand loyalist. So using this idea in the most simplest terms, it's a 3-step process that I've broken down to 3 steps to lead to success. Because once you've done this for somebody, once somebody stands here and they're standing victorious, depending on what your product is, they might just stand there and they might keep coming back again and again and again to remain in this part. For example, if you have a product that you offer, say it's a type of shampoo. If they've always used other shampoos, their hair gets frizzy, they don't want to use a lot of chemicals, you have a natural hair care solution for them, and they absolutely try it, they love it, they're going to come here, they're going to keep coming back, right? And not only that, they're going to keep coming back. Now that you have that success, they're also going to find other people, or they're going to hear their friends or family who, oh yeah, I love your hair. They're going to get compliments. They want better hair, right? And then that person will come to you and get better hair. So it kind of is this whole cycle that could just play again and again, or you could see it as exactly that, and even a cycle, kind of like a funnel, where you could have a pain point, you address that, you offer a solution, they They solve that problem. Okay, well, then there's always something next, right? There's always a next step or something else that you want to work on. So, from that solution and that success, now you have somebody who, when they have encountered another problem, they're going to come to you to help find a solution.
Love that so much. So much. That's awesome. Yeah, that is something that we do once we get to the launch phase of the program, is to actually find stories for each pain point. And it's better sometimes if we have experienced those, you know what I mean? Like they're like stories, like basically our stories, our pain points, putting stories to it so that people can actually feel something, and you're not talking like some robot.
Cold, or like it's some kind of like there's a wall, there's some kind of blockage there that keeps you from connecting with your audience. And honestly, even though this is something that people can use after they launch, while you're still in the launch process, while you're still trying to get audience members, get a following, drum up excitement for your product, you can use that for yourself. How did you come about creating your brand? Right? That can be the initial story you tell. And then when you launch your brand or your product, now this is a new story you tell.
Yeah, there's new stories, there's more stories, and it evolves, right? The story always evolves. One of the biggest problems that I've seen in my clients is that they're speaking where they're at, not where they were. So I don't know if you have any advices for that, because we evolve at every step of our business. And we think we have this idea that everybody evolved at the same time that we did, and that can cause some problems in the messaging.
Yeah. So I think, and let me just make sure what I'm hearing is correct. What you're saying is, how do we find how do we recognize our own journey and improvements and how far we've come? Because again, we see somebody else who might be 2 steps ahead and we're like, oh, I want to be there, instead of realizing where we've come from.
Yes. And sometimes we've evolved, we're not the person that we were, but instead of speaking to the clients to where they're at, we're speaking to where we're at. More often, right? And sometimes people can't relate. So for example, if my avatar is just starting in their business, but I go into like all of the technical, because I've learned the jargon, right? Like I've learned all of this jargon and mindset talk and funnels, but I forgot at some point that my avatar is not necessarily going to know which Trello, ClickUp, the ClickFunnels and all of that good stuff. And that in the messaging can sometimes propel people.
And that's where I would almost kind of revert back to the hero's journey, where you can use your ideal client avatar as the hero, and you can say, okay, what solutions am I offering them? And if they don't, again, when they get into this solution phase, it's seen as an unknown, right? That you're teaching them. So you're right. They're probably not going to know a lot of the jargon. You might have to simplify things. And that's where, again, the messaging will come into play, and making sure that what you're saying, like you can always think, if I explained this to my mom, who's not at all into this space, would she understand what I'm doing? I know, she's a smart woman, she's brilliant, but she's not an entrepreneur. She's not into business. She'd have no idea if I was talking about funnels. So you have to
That's funny you say this, because you tell me this and I have like a little panic attack if I had to explain this to my mom, and I'm just like, oh my God.
Right. And my dad did a wonderful thing when I first had my website up. He read it and he was like, so I'm not sure exactly what you do. Is it this? And I was like, oh crap. Because he's an MBA and he's been an executive. And I'm like, oh, this should be somebody who would catch on really fast. And my message is wrong. Try again. So honestly,
that's such a good advice. Yeah.
Having people who having somebody who should know the jargon or should know this, check it out to see if you're being on point and clear with your messaging. And also somebody who would have no idea can they both understand what you're doing? And in my case, neither of them did. So I was really
Oh no!
really, because I was so broad, and I was just, it was kind of not fluffy language, but ambiguous language. So I really had to hone in on my messaging to make sure that I was getting crystal clear on what I was doing, offering, who I was serving. And once I did
That's
that,
awesome.
now people get what I'm doing.
Who out here has a website that's just about to send it to a bestie or a mom or a dad just to make sure then they're on point? Yeah, because my husband will read everything. We have the same let's call it sarcastic humor. So it works, but maybe going outside of the family and somebody who does not hear me talk about all of this every day, sometimes I do feel bad.
Oh, for sure. And, and that's where, for me, I'm obviously living in Facebook groups, because there you can, even if you're not posting on a post to advertise something, most Facebook groups will let you post to ask a question, to pose a question, to ask for market research. It's not really a promo if you're asking for help. And oh my gosh, there's so many people who are willing to help each other out, because it really only takes 30 seconds out of your day, usually, to just scan a website and say, oh, so do you do this? And then having the person say, oh, actually, I do this. And maybe giving them one or two tips. It takes a minute or two. And, it's a pay it forward. You would hope that someone would do it for you, or that when you need help, someone will help you. So I just think that sense of community, of helping and sharing, is you really should leverage that and use that to your advantage.
Yes, Monica in the comments said she has an accountability partner that reads most of her content. That is so amazing. Who here in the comments, let us know who here listening has an accountability partner, because that is awesome. You know what? This is a very lonely world if you let it. But it does not have to be. So an accountability partner is everything. I do love to talk and bounce things off of people, even though if I don't really need their opinion, I just love it so much. Yeah. So that is amazing. So if you have any question for Jenny, just let us know into the comments. And I know that you mentioned a gift. Can you let me know how they could get that? And I'll put that in the comments for everybody.
Sure. Actually, I can go ahead, and if you want, you can reach me. I have a Facebook group. Maybe it's easier because I can offer it. If you join my Facebook group, I can leave your email, and I'm happy to email it to you. Or you can reach out to me on Facebook. I'm Janny Almond. You're welcome to just DM me directly. I usually don't offer that, but obviously if I'm telling you, I can expect the DMs, and I'm open to them. So I'm happy to share that. And my Facebook group, it's called Businesses and Entrepreneurs for Change. And I really try to go in there just to give tips, ideas, build a sense of community of people who are wanting to create a more positive impact in the world through their business, because I don't think that businesses have to be inherently, this money-making greedy machine. I think that you can use them for as an agent of good, an agent of change as well. And so I really want to kind of create a space where everyone is able to share ideas and come together. Thank you so much, Sophie. And yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and you can join the Facebook group, and I'm happy to send them your way, or you can reach out to me directly, Janny Almond.
I'm gonna look up your Facebook page and see if we can find that, and just put the link. Entrepreneurs for Change. It's such a pretty name.
Thanks. I wanted to make it something that was pretty broad, but also like simple, powerful, and broad. So that way, it's not really feeling like it's excluding anybody. I want it to include everybody. And honestly, a lot of the people in the group are either people who are just starting their business, have thought about starting a business, or are people who are, I call sustainability adjacent, where they're interested in adopting more sustainable lifestyle practices. But they might like their indulgence here and there. So we're inclusive. We're not here to preach or, to preach to anybody. It's more about just learning and having everyone share. Thank you.
Amazing. Well, it was so nice to have you. So definitely send Jenny a DM, go into the Facebook group to make sure that you have the resources that she has gotten ready for everybody. Thanks for coming on, and we'll chat soon.
Thanks, Sophie. I really appreciate it. Have a good one.
Yes.
Thanks.
All right. So I believe we have a few minutes because the next speaker has not popped into the screen yet, but that is okay. We're just going to have a quick chat. So I want to know, what is the most, let's call it, life-changing things that you have learned so far? There's a lot. So if we just look at, so annoying. So I don't know why. Like, this is my scroll moment, you guys. I've received like 20 phone calls. So yes, I don't know if I signed up or something. They're all random phone calls from all over the world. I'm gonna have to sort this out after this. But I want to know, what is the most life-changing little piece of information, because sometimes it's just the little things that you have to change, that you have learned so far. Tomorrow, let's talk about tomorrow while we're waiting for the next speaker to come on. We're going to be chatting about Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, blog, and Pinterest. Now, which platform would you say is your favorite, or that you want to grow? You know, one of the biggest mistakes that we do as entrepreneurs, that we want to be we can want to be everywhere, all at the same place. Yeah, I believe so, Larissa. Yes. So just send her a DM and she'll gladly send that over. So yes, one of the biggest mistakes is that you can be everywhere, but you have to choose one platform at a time to grow. Otherwise, it's too much. You're going to spend all of your time growing. Every single platform has different different growth tactic, different, you can use them for differently. I'm just going to put, Jesse just sent them. I'm just putting a message from Jenny in the comments. So you need to choose one platform, but which one do you get to choose? It all depends. What's better for you? What's better for your clients? Where are your clients? So that is going to be a really, 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 really epic day. All right, so I'm just going to bring on Betty. Hello, Betty. How are you? Oh, we can't hear you yet. So maybe we just need to wait a second. Betty is going to teach us about making financial projection for your launch, which is going to be epic. So we're just waiting for the sound.
Hi, Sophie.
Hi, Betty. How are you? Yes, I can hear you.
Hi, Sophie. Thanks for having me here. I'm so excited.
I am too. Listen, so I want to know, like in the comments, let me know, because this has happened to me numerous times. You know, like, you get the question, and what is your goal for your launch? And you pull this really, really big number out of nowhere without even thinking in consideration, what do I have planned for the launch? What's realistic? So I am thrilled to have you here today.
Yes, we're going to talk about what realistic numbers are, and you should be making decisions based on your numbers. I'm going to show you how to use a spreadsheet and calculate numbers for an offer and projecting your numbers if you want to make 200 grand a year. So that's the example I'm going to be showing, because I think that's where everyone should reach for. I can tell you this, whether you reach for 100 grand or you reach for $1 million, it's the same amount of efforts. So you might as well reach higher. Yeah.
That is so exciting. Okay, I am total number nerd, so I am excited. Are you showing your screen for a presentation?
Yes, I do have some slides in the presentation. So let me see if I can Chrome tab.
I'm excited. Numbers is everything. All right, I see you popping up on the screen. Let's see. All right, you are on.
So it's good? Perfect.
Yeah, you're all good.
So thank you very much. We are going to be discussing a fun topic today, making financial projections for your launch. It does not have to be a big headache if you are clear about what you want to offer and how much you want to offer it. So we're going to go step by step and explain everything new entrepreneurs need to know to make their launch successful. Before we start, I'm Betty Dang. I'm a Joyful Wealth coach. I teach people how to love money, understand money, and make more money. The agenda today, we're going to learn how to craft your offer and make financial projections to project your offer and meet your goals for the month. A little bit about me. I have been in accounting for more than 15 years. I am an owner and coach of Betty Dang Coaching. I also have several companies, and I'm a serial entrepreneur. So as long as you are focused and you're organized financially and your numbers are clear, you should be able to create a marketing strategy that goes along with your numbers to have a successful launch. And just a little bit more background about me before we run into the numbers, why I have such a good background in accounting. I started as an auditor in 2006. Being an auditor teaches me the skills to walk through any business and offer suggestions and effective ways to increase your workflow and your profits in the long run. I became a senior accountant at Partner Reinsurance. I was corporate accountant for 5 years, very lots of responsibilities, and I burnt out. So I had to take a break in 2012. In 2014, I came and partnered with some people in New York, became a consultant, a strategic consultant. And then I found that people need a little bit more motivation and coaching to actually implement the strategies that I had taught them. So I became a coach in 2017, played around with some niches, and now I am a joyful wealth coach, helping people understand money and love money. So when you make financial projections for your launch, there are 3 things that I feel that you should consider when you're creating these financials. 1, what are you selling? What is the product and service that you are selling? And then how many hours does it take to onboard your client and close out that product? Whether you have a product that you sell and that's just it, maybe it takes you an hour to do a sales call, and that's it. That's how long it takes you to close a sale. Or if you have a coaching client, it starts from the initial conversation. Maybe you have a conversation, you hop on a call for an hour, and then you sell 6 packages, like 6 session package. So how long does it take you to do those 6 sessions? And also, what kind of support are you giving in your package as well? You need to understand that when you take time to chat and email with your clients, those are hours that you need to include in your financial projections as well. And lastly, once you get all that information, you can decide how much you're going to be selling your product for. Well, then that also depends on what your monthly goals are, how many units you want to sell a month, who your ideal client is that is going to be buying these prices, and then we determine hourly rate or project rate that makes sense for your project. Am I going fast, Sophie? Nope. Okay.
You're doing perfect. It's going great.
Great, thank you. All right, so I want to ask you a question before we delve into numbers, because sometimes numbers can make you feel overwhelmed. And that's the reason why a lot of business owners don't even look at their numbers and they say their accountants will do everything for them. That's not the way you should be hands-on in your business. You should have a clear understanding what numbers you're making your decisions on so you can understand your profits and your workflow. So do you make your decisions based on numbers or feelings? And feeling is like, for example, I love strawberry ice cream, so I'm just going to open a stand right here and sell strawberry ice cream, and there'll be tons of people that will come. That's not doing any market research, not making decisions based on numbers, but just on the feeling that you like strawberry ice cream and everyone else is going to like strawberry ice cream. Well, if you've been in business for a long time or just new, you'll notice that that's not how business works. You really need to get to the nitty-gritty of numbers to understand how clear your offer is to your ideal client. So now we have this spreadsheet. It is in color so that you can very easily see. And we're just going to walk through what the decision process is like when you're calculating your numbers for the month. So let's say your goal is for the year to make $200,000 a year. A lot of people forget tax. We all have tax. So if you want your income, take-home income to be $200,000 a year, you need to calculate first how much tax liability you have. And at $200,000 a year, you're looking at 35% tax liability. Now, are there strategies that you can use to save taxes? Yes, there are, but we're not going to be covering that today. We're just going to give you a clear example, simple example of how to calculate your offers and your hours. So calculating 35% of $200,000 a year is equal to $270,000. So when you add 200,000 plus the $70,000 a year, that's the total that you need to make. Deep breath, right? First you said you wanted to make 200,000, but now it's really $270,000 that you need to make in order to take income home at $200,000. If you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat and we'll answer them at the end. So at $270,000, that's really the whole income that you're looking for the year. You're going to break that down to 12 months a year, and that's $22,500 a month that you need to bring in to meet your goals. That's a clear picture. With that number, you know what kind of marketing strategy you need to come up with. So as I said before, it takes you about 18 hours to onboard your client. So you just need to know how much that, and 18 hours could be over 6 weeks, it could be over 6 months, just depending how much of those 6 sessions are. I calculated 18 hours because it's 6 hours of on time, probably one-on-one calls, and probably 2 hours a week to 1 or 2 hours a week of supporting them and chatting with them. And that's hours that most people don't think about, but those are support hours that you need to count into your time. So how much do you offer your package for? I created a very easy number. I believe I took $150 an hour and multiplied by 18 and got 36, or maybe I did $200 an hour. That makes more sense. $200 an hour times 18 hours, $3,600 for your package. That's a decision that you made based on your time and clear numbers to create that package at $3,600. That's where you're valuing your time. And when you take that back to the monthly rate that you're making, $22,500, you divide that by the $3,600 and you get 6.25. There shouldn't be a dollar sign there, but it's 6.25 actually. That's about 6 to 7 packages that you need to sell a month to make $22,500. So knowing that you need to close 7 sales a month, you can start to create an organic. I believe organic strategies are very popular right now and it's easy to outreach. Let's say you have a close rate of 50%. That means 50% of the people that you talk to is how many people you close and enroll into your programs. That's a really good close rate. You don't have to be there, but you need to understand that so you can see how many people you need to talk to. In the case I've given you, you need to talk to at least 14 people, assuming 50% you can close. And as you do sales, the better you get at it. So that is how you calculate how much you need to make a month, and it looks like easy, big chunks. Now, maybe you don't want to reach 7 people a month and you just want to do 5 sales a month. So you would reverse that and take the $22,500 divided by 5 sales. And how much is that per month? That's just another way to think about it. But either way, making a strategy from your numbers makes sense because, you know, like if I want to reach 14 people, that means I could probably spend 3 hours going through my Facebook or my LinkedIn and talking to 14 people out of the 700 people that I know. That's one strategy. Another way is doing email marketing if you have an email list, or calling people up, or posting in groups. So those are strategies that I do talk more about in my freebie. Is it okay if I go into the offer of the freebie, or did you want to do questions first, Sophie?
No, absolutely. We can absolutely do that. You can talk about it and I'll drop it off in the comments.
Okay, great. My free challenge, 5-day challenge, is going to go more into numbers, the projections that we just did, but we also will talk about marketing, sales, and social media, and how to take advantage of all that to create an organic marketing strategy. The 5-day free challenge is called Turn Your Passion into Profits. I really enjoy helping entrepreneurs turn their passions into profits because they have a business that they love waking up to. When you have a business that you love waking up to, you take massive action, and massive action is what gives you results. So to join for December 1st, we meet at night at 8:30 Eastern time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. It's bettydang.com/launch-freebie. I think Sophie's going to drop it in there, but I'd love to see you and have you hop on our Zoom calls for 5 nights, and let's see where we can take your business. And any questions, you feel free to connect with me. My website's bettydang.com. Follow me on Facebook. I have facebook.com/sunshinekiss at 36. Or you can connect me with on LinkedIn. I'm always open to answering questions. And that wraps it up. Thank you.
Yay. Okay, so I'm just gonna put you back on the screen here, and we have Larissa that has a comment, so I'm just gonna read that together. That's 126 hours total per month for actual training with each of 7 clients, with about 160 hours per month, 40 hours a week, about 30 hours per month to do the CEO work.
Mhm.
That's a lot
Thank
of
you for
numbers
calculating
out
all
there.
that, Larissa. So I'm going to share with you. Thank you for calculating, and you're probably wondering how I can do all these things with all those hours that I've just talked about, right? First of all, I think that if you do the 6 hours, 7 clients, and you do hour sessions each month or 2 sessions a week, 2 sessions a month, you're going to be spreading that time over 6 months. And as more clients, right, you're meeting your goals, you're going to be able to hire something called a virtual assistant. I hired a virtual assistant 2 months ago, and it has changed my life. I've actually opened a virtual assistant company because I want other people to feel joy when they do their work. Your assistant can help you with the social media, email management, creating presentations, creating graphics, and also coming up with strategy for you. My virtual assistant is amazing. She tweaks the strategies, like the graphics and what she posts for this week based on what I post last week. Because I did some very long story posts about my snowboarding, about my trips and what I planned on going. And she mirrored that, and she did it from my business page as well. So these are people that are critically thinking for your business, and they help you come up with ways to make your business more effective as well, so that you can focus on the hours. And then as you grow, another way is I hired salespeople. I'm taking time to train salespeople, and those are different additional revenues, income revenues that you're investing in.
Yeah, exactly. You have to see where you are with your business. And once you start getting that income and your income grows, your business grows, you're going to find yourself growing a team and truly stepping into the CEO, right, portion of your business. So that is amazing. That's awesome to help. I just want to put a comment here on the screen because it's a nice comment. Rosie says hi. Obviously, she got some help from Benny. We're talking, and she's great for helping her out so far. So
thank you, Rachel. Rosie, Rachel. She goes by both names.
But
yes,
awesome.
I really love helping people because sometimes it's just a shift of how you're thinking, and you can bring more income in. So Larissa is right. She definitely wants to make it happen for her because she's calculating the number of hours already. Yeah.
Yes, and it's good. So just like a little bit earlier today, we talked about doing a time audit. So it's really, really important to know the type of, like, we are all different, right? So, I mean, I'm going to calculate my time different than Betty, different than Larissa. We all have different things going on. I have a fudge factor in my time because COVID and toddlers, right? So a little runny nose gets him kicked out of daycare, and because of COVID, he hasn't gotten into daycare until just recently. He's 3, and
it's hard. I mean,
I all the time, so I have like fudge factors, right?
It is what it is, like, right? My assistant became a freelancer because she wanted to stay home with her baby. So she Sometimes she'll text me. She's like, I got to put my baby to sleep and I'll continue to work. You just have to understand that's how it works sometimes. And you be flexible to navigate good people. She does good work. I'm not going to trip on the fact that she has to do mother duties too. This is why we work from home, so that we can have the flexibility. Deadlines are met. I have no problem with that. You know,
That's
it's good.
amazing.
And
What is the first hire that you've ever done? So what was the purpose? Like the first thing that you've ever asked somebody to do for you when you hired? Like the first task which you were like, I need to get this off my plate. I am done. I don't want to do this.
the first thing I did was actually my social media. Like 8 years ago, I had hired someone to do my social media, and I made a lot of mistakes along the way. Do not give over your social media to someone you don't know well. They will sabotage your social media because some people are angry for no reason. But it made me.
Oh my goodness, that seems like there's a story here.
I think, I think a lot of people can relate to the fact that sometimes when you hire people, they're not exactly how they portray themselves to be. And when you hire them for like a paid position, it's hard to tell them. I've had assistants show up and I'm paying them $20 an hour to do things that they should be able to do, because I believe that you have a 4 years degree. You should be able to type up a document for me.
Yes.
So
it is hard. It is hard. Yes.
And you have to understand that not everyone is motivated the same way you are. The 4 people that I just hired are also freelancers, and they own their own business, and they're learning and they want to learn how to grow. So they're very super excited about the opportunity to learn to do something new.
Yeah, I think that's the key. So one of the biggest mistake I've seen from working behind the scenes was that when people hired people like me, like you, or other people, they let go of that CEO, thinking that everything's going to get done and they don't have to be present, and they're just going to get onto some coaching and everything's going to magically work.
Right. And it's not like that at all.
You're still driving the boat. You need to motivate people. This is your business. This always will be your business. And you need to give your team the energy and the excitement, and you need to bring them in, right?
Yes.
Into the excitement, and make them like fall in love with your company, so that your success is their success, and it's just it's just so exciting.
It is. It's really, really exciting. I just have to see how it goes. But this is the first time I feel very excited of having a sales team. I've worked a lot and I've tried to build a lot of partnerships, but I believe this one is the right one. Just to circle back to Larissa's 126 hours, because I see the comment right there. It's not 126 hours per month. With 7 clients and you're doing 6-month packages for coaching, you're looking at 3 hours a month per client. That's 21 hours a month, really. So I just wanted to clarify that too.
Okay, awesome. So hopefully that clarifies that, Larissa. Let us know into the comments. Also, what I find is that, if you do some repetitive task, just a feel-good task, like a quick message or an email, or there is some tasks that you can automate with your clients as well. Larissa says, assumptions. Yes. So that's super, super interesting. Now, I'm just curious, and we're just talking here, but so you're building a team, you're building your empire, you're at the top. It is exciting. It is hard. It is but so many feelings, right?
Right.
Meetings. How often do you meet with your team, and how do you keep those meetings on task? I feel like maybe it's because I came from a more corporate world, but a lot of meetings are useless.
Are kind of useless. I hear you.
Right?
I hear you. Like, I think meetings need to be productive, right? So we have our first sales meeting next Monday. And I plan on using an hour and a half to at first explain to them how money and the energy of money works. Because that's how I build everything, the energy of money. And then some sales techniques that I've learned and how to interact with people on social media. We're just going to get right into the exercise of how to comment and how to sharpen up our commenting so that we can be more heart-centered, and who we should be offering help to create leads. I teach people to add value. So teaching on how to ask questions. So if we get really into it, I'm also leveraging other coaches who have free business classes or free master classes. Like a lot, I told all my VAs to register for this launch and to watch and to learn.
Exciting!
Yeah. And then we have a masterclass next Friday that my friend is coaching, that's teaching, and she's doing heart-centered sales. So that's going to be great. And I actually took a course that at the beginning of the month with a coach from Australia, and he does sales coaching, and he has a very specific technique that it's almost like I want to say it's 6 steps or 5 steps in a sales call that you follow a line, and you just follow the line method, and you just go through the sales call that way. And I also offer to be on the sales call with my VAs or my salespeople. So if they've chatted up and they've been able to schedule an appointment for a sales call, I'll hop on and I'll do the sales call with them until they're comfortable. So I think that's really what makes the difference. I've been on a lot of sales team and I didn't get the full support I needed because it takes a little bit of vocal practice to get that, to get comfortable. So that's where I'm really targeting.
And you don't want to put your people into a place where they're not comfortable, right? Because that's not.
So, Philippines, that's where my VAs are from. They don't make a lot per hour, but what I'm charging for my clients, I'm charging minimum $18 an hour because I am also on the team. It's my work and my experience that goes into it too. So you're actually getting a savings because if you were to hire me, it would be much more expensive. So if you think about it, or you hired someone with the same abilities in the US, you're looking at $20 to $25. You're not going to find someone at 18. So that's where we start. And for my VAs who's used to selling packages that are at a lower price, half that price, they need support to raise their prices and to feel that value behind that price.
Yes, absolutely. That is so amazing. So let us know if you have any questions for Betty. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Sophie, for having me.
Oh, it was so amazing. I am a sucker for visual. I love visual. So this was amazing, right? So there's no confusion. It's easy, simple, yet so effective. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
I'll make sure to add your freebie as well into the email that goes out with the replays to make it easier for people to not look into the comments.
Great. Thank you.
Yes. And we'll chat soon.
All right. Thank you, Sophie, very much. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh my goodness. So how awesome was that? So hopefully you have a better idea. You have a lot of ideas maybe coming on with your next launch, with your business, and everything. I mean, there's so much. But I want to say there's so much as entrepreneurs that you can do, that you can learn. It doesn't mean that you have to do everything. It's truly finding what works best for you. And now I'm going to drop into the comment the link to sign up to the secret workshop if you haven't yet. Because to give you into a little secrets, yes, we're going to go into some really, really actionable things to do, but what I have to teach you takes no longer than 30 minutes. And I do have 3 hours set up for that. So anything that you want to come on and ask, this is going to be through Zoom in a complete face-to-face talking. So not me just talking for 3 hours. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. And I don't hold anything back. I will answer all questions that you have. So that is all for today. I want to say thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here. It means so, so, so much to me. And I cannot wait to see everybody tomorrow when we start to touch on all the social media, Pinterest, and blogging. You're going to learn some amazing, amazing things tomorrow for your social media tactics. So have a good day. I can't wait to see everybody.